Hello.
Hey. Hey, what's up? Hello. Welcome to 6 Feet of Space, a fundraiser hosted by Sounds Fake But Okay, a podcast where an airways girl, I'm Sarah, that's me,
And a demi straight girl, that's me, Kayla.
are joined by activists and members of the aromantic and asexual communities to raise money for the World Health Organization. Oh, there's already a loud car. For the World Health Organization COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund.
Oh,
How you doing, Kayla?
good. I'm excited. I'm nervous.
I'm also nervous. I'm sweating. It's fine.
Good. It's actually very fun.
Everything's fine. But for those of you who don't know anything about what's going on here, Kayla, do you want to tell them about the fund that we're raising money for?
Yeah, so we're raising money for the World Health Organization, United Nations COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. There should be a link in the my YouTube or a link in the description for like all the details on exactly what they're using the money for. But basically, all of the money we raise today and throughout this week is going to that organization, and they use all of the money from this fund to send to countries in need who are struggling with the virus. They're using it to buy PPE for medical professionals, to train medical professionals, to track the spread of the virus, and to help find the vaccine. So it's global for everyone, all of you around the world. They're dispersing it everywhere. So yeah, and every small bit counts, even if just $1 you can donate. That's totally helpful. Or if you just want to hang out, that's also very awesome. And oh, Sarah just put the link. So you can go there and donate.
Indeed. Yeah. As we said, every dollar counts. We were gonna read some of the names of people who've already donated, correct?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun if, like, as you guys donate during this, if we like read things out and thank people.
If you want to leave us a little message.
Yeah, we'll read out a message. Yeah, we've had the fundraiser up for a couple days. We've already raised $2,131.51, which is insane.
Truly.
Very crazy. So yeah, I'm going to read out the names of the people. A lot of them are anonymous, but it's okay. So we have Anonymous, Sneha, Sophie.
I know
her. Change my Max. I can't see. Well, Jennifer Rosenberg, I think. Caitlin, Derek and Carissa, Robin Leanne, Purple Haze, Megan Rowell.
Megan. Say it right.
Sorry, Megan. Elisa Price, Clot Polls Only, Brianna, Matt Dakin, Anonymous, Emily Vera, Anonymous, Janison Pete Scatini, Michelle Wright, Sounds Fake But Okay Sister.
Whose sister was that?
I would have to assume it's yours. Beth, Krista, Anonymous, C, Evie, and Corinne, and Eva. So,
I see 3 more.
You see 3 more since just now?
Yeah.
Yes, Sarah Weiland, Dee, and Katie Ellie. Yay, thank you guys so much. Oh my God.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah.
And I saw someone in the comments mention that they can't donate, but they did share. If you can't donate and you can share, please do.
Very helpful.
Great. Okay. Matea commented and said that my shirt is amazing. Kayla gave it to me.
Oh my God, you can show a comment? This is so fancy. Sarah's shirt is amazing. I picked it out myself.
Arrow Ace.
Should we?
Out of my face.
Should we introduce ourselves to the people who are not here for us?
Kayla, tell the kids about yourself.
Well, we are collectively Sounds Fake But Okay, the podcast, an Arrow Ace podcast, and also demisexual, because that's what I am. My name is Kayla. I'm demisexual. I'm in Michigan right now. Very exciting. Oh, that's my cat. She's being very loud. This is Billy, my cat. Yes, that's me.
Yes. I'm Sarah. I'm Arrow Ace. I I say this all the time on the podcast, but there are a lot of loud noises outside my apartment, so I'm very sorry if you hear a plane, a siren, someone essentially drag racing. It happens. But yeah, Kayla, can you give your cat a hug for Summer?
Yes, let me go collect her and see if she'll participate for a second.
Okay.
Hi. This is my cat, Billy. She says hello. You say hi? She's not, I don't think she wants it. This is my cat. Some of our other guests today also have animals, so they might be making appearances. Oh, she doesn't want it anymore. No more.
Good.
This is an animal stream now. Sorry, we will be rescheduling the Aromantic Asexual stream.
I mean, who's to say that Billy's not Ace or SpACE in some other way?
That's very true. I mean, I've never known her to like really enjoy anyone else. So, oh, we have some more donations. Emma Livingston says they're so excited. Mark Gonvi? Yes, Gonvi. Chippy, who says, take my money. And Matt, who says, thank you for doing this and bringing the community together. You're welcome. Thank you for being here and donating.
Indeed. For those of you who don't know what's coming, where you been, but also we've got some awesome guests who are going to take part in this stream soon. Do we want to just jump into our first guest? She's here. I see her.
Is she?
Yes.
Yeah, we can just jump in.
All right. Kayla, would you like to give a little introduction?
Yes, this is your favorite, maybe. We have many, but maybe this is your favorite asexual. I don't want to, listen, this is your favorite asexual YouTuber and also just, you know, all over YouTuber, Emmy Salita, aka Emily.
Hello. I have provided my cat as well.
Yay!
I heard the cat talk, but he doesn't really want to sit with me, so he's gonna. He's a bit poorly at the minute, bless him.
Oh no!
He's all over my laptop.
Yay!
Oh no!
Oh
no! Rip.
Well, we love our first technical difficulty. Oh no!
No, fully. The cat just fully kicked Emmy off.
The cat said, "No, this is my stream. Thank you very much."
Yes, indeed.
Oopsie.
Have you seen that video of the guy who's like doing the weather, but his cat or his dog? Sorry, hey Emmy.
He jumped on the laptop and closed everything. I am so sorry.
No, but have you seen the video of the guy who his dog like messed up his computer so he couldn't actually show the weather, and then the dog like jumped up and like was like,
oh my god, that's so cute. The other night my cat managed to open PowerPoint and did me a whole little PowerPoint while I was asleep.
How nice.
He's very talented, what can I say?
I wanted to inform you on some issues, that's all.
Exactly, it was very informative.
Yeah. Well,
can you guys hear me okay, by the way?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Welcome to the stream.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm excited. I am also nervous. So
okay, so are we. So as I understand it, you just finished your semester.
Yes, I finished with my deadlines on. When did I finish them? It feels like already forever ago. I finished all my deadlines on like Tuesday, I think. So now I'm done for the year at uni. And
yay!
Oh my god, it's such a weight off my back because doing this from home is not easy. I do media, so it's quite difficult to do a production or exhibit or anything when you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that I was able to finish my film degree before this, because based on like how old I am, I could have been a grade below, so I could have been graduating this year.
I mean, I stayed a year extra before I went to college, so before I went to uni, sorry. And I would have been doing, if I'd gone straight to university, I would have been graduating this year, and this would have been like chaos. So I'm glad that that's not quite the case. Keep getting
That is good.
How I'm moving. There we go. Yeah.
Well, I'm just kind of curious as like a first question, because me and Sarah started doing our kind of stuff during school, university, college. But I feel like you have Emblemus and you do all of this stuff. Like, how do you balance all of like your activism and going on the news and like all of that, and then also going to school?
I don't really. I don't know. I've done YouTube for like 5 years, pretty much. So it's been a hot minute, and it's just kind of like the thing that I do whenever I have time. Although I film a lot more than I edit and upload. I just don't like editing at the minute, so I put off a lot of things. But I don't know how I've kind of managed it, really. It's just kind of what I'm used to. And in terms of like the activism-y stuff as well, it has its obviously periods where it's a lot busier. So obviously during Pride Month and Asexual Awareness Week and all of that, it's going to be a lot busier for me doing other things than in January when suddenly nobody cares anymore. Typical. Yeah, so I just kind of have to like keep an eye on what I'm doing and not try and like overwork myself, because I'd rather post something good than nothing. I don't know, I guess.
It's very fair. Yeah, it is interesting. I feel like we realized, especially this year, that like we got like a lot of new followers and like people were interested in talking to us during like ACE week, and then after that,
yeah,
kind of like goodbye.
But like obviously we exist all year, every day. Don't forget about us when it's not ACE week.
I know, like, we're still here.
Like, it's mad, but Pride Month and the summit is usually the busiest time, like without a doubt, because there's so much going on over in the UK. Like London Pride takes up so much time because all of their events, just before this lockdown started, they'd already done the theme launch and all of that. So all of the events had kind of already started building up, and then obviously nothing. Here we are. Which is getting so weird. It's so weird knowing that there's not going to be London Pride this year, or at least at the time that we're expecting it. It's so strange and unsettling.
Yeah, it is so weird. Like everything, I feel like there was a ton of big events happening, and I know like some like ACE groups were doing meetups and stuff, and then it's just like goodbye.
Yeah, it's like, oh, when is the next time I'm going to see anyone that is not my mum and my cat? God knows.
That is how I feel.
So strange. The other thing that I found is like as soon as I finally get like dates for big events and stuff that like work out for me. So there's a YouTube convention over in the UK that I go to every year called Social in the City. And this year it falls on my birthday weekend. And I was so ready. I mean, technically it's still happening, but it's not been really decided anything because it is in the temporary hospital.
Oh.
So it's most likely not going to happen, but they haven't officially said anything yet. But I was meant to be my 21st over that weekend. So I'm like, I was so sad because normally my birthday's in the summer and people just aren't around very much. And it's either that people are going to this event or they're just away and they can't do that and my birthday. So I'm a bit gutted that they probably aren't going to happen now. And I don't get to see anyone on my birthday, which is.
But I mean, here's the thing: when they do finally have events again, you can claim that they are all for your birthday.
Oh, I will. I was going to milk that like 5 days so bad. I'm just going to do the exact same.
Like, this is for my birthday. This is for the asexuals. This is for all the aspec.
Yeah, all of them.
This is for ours.
Every day is ours.
My birthday is in what?
A week? Exactly a week.
A week. Yes.
Happy birthday,
someone wants to give me the gift of donating. But yeah, I'm planning myself like an Animal Crossing party.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
I can't have people over, so I was like, who wants to come to my island?
I don't even have a Switch, so I can't play this new Animal Crossing. I'm only on New Leaf at the minute, but I'm enjoying it. But everyone else is there with their islands and better things.
Kayla was begging me to get a Switch so I could come to her birthday party.
True. I'm making Sarah's sister come to my party instead. So
I love that. I love that. I'm really trying to resist the temptation to just get a Switch just for Animal Crossing, because I'm not going to use it for anything else, and I really shouldn't. But I don't know what else to spend my student loan on. I've got nothing else to do.
That's so true.
Kayla,
I need to be like actually sensible and
be an adult.
Why be sensible when you could get Animal Crossing?
Because my cat's poorly, and I've committed to helping my cat.
It's a fair point.
Vet bills are not cheap, unfortunately. So I'm going to pay for my cat to have a blood test instead of getting a Switch.
Oh man!
Oh no!
That's heartbreaking. It sounds a lot more sad than it is. I'm just helping my mum because I have more money than I normally have because of this. But I just someone in the chat says they have Pocket Camp on their phones. You got the Animal Crossing Pocket Camp thing.
Oh, fun! Oh yeah,
I've not used. I've got it a bit, but I haven't really got invested in that. It's just too small.
Kayla, can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
My Switch is coming on Monday.
Sarah, are you really?
Oh
my god, I'm so excited.
That's so cute.
My sister talked me into it, and she found where they were on. I got a Switch Lite because
They come in cool colors.
So yeah.
So, Sarah, are you getting Animal Crossing?
So my sister told me she'd buy Animal Crossing for me.
I'm so excited. Also, if anyone in the chat has Animal Crossing, my friend ID is somewhere on our Twitter. Somewhere. And I've also made our little logo into a sweatshirt.
Oh my god, I want that.
Play with me, come to my birthday, just look at our Twitter. Well, if anyone has any questions for Emmy or anything, just put them in the chat. We'll all answer and have fun.
Indeed. By the way, Perry, our very own Piano Fiano, mentioned in the chat, today is graduation day for our university.
True.
So happy graduation to all of y'all University of Michigan people and anyone else who's graduating around this time. You did it.
You did it. Yeah, my boyfriend is downstairs and he graduated today. And I don't know if he's watching. I don't know. We're having a party for him tomorrow. I can't tell you any secrets because I don't know if he's watching. We're having a party tomorrow. Okay. I have a question because I was binge watching some of your YouTube videos.
Oh God,
yes. To do my homework. And I wanted to talk to you about your thoughts on the uterus because in your Wine Mom videos, you were talking about how you did not want your uterus and you wanted to transplant. And me and Sarah have talked about this topic.
Oh, my ring light's just gone off. There we go. Give me a sec. Everything is chaos and is broken. We're just going to keep the light off now because
you look great.
It's fine.
That was something that Sam just brought up out of nowhere. I don't even really know quite how the conversation went. So it was something about uterus transplants or?
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
I don't know what that involves.
I don't either. I just know me and Sarah have talked about not wanting our uteruses so many times.
It's just a part of my body. It's just kind of there. I'm not really fussed about it,
I neither want nor need it.
Yeah, it's just a bit then I guess it's making my body work and all of that, but
who needs it though?
I don't think I would miss it,
Yeah.
It wouldn't have to keep track of my period.
Kelly, you're so right.
I love that you can put the little comments on. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, got some quality ones.
Amazing.
Noodles. I agree that noodles are boneless.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh
man.
man.
I saw a question, I think, asking for tips for coming out. Also, congrats if you graduated today.
Tips on coming out. I get asked this question so often. I still never know quite where to suggest things because it's so different for different people depending on your situation and the environments that you're in. So I came out to my mum after maybe 2 years of already knowing I was asexual. And I came out to her in the car on my way to work. And she was just talking about like some LGBT things anyway, asking if she could, how she could use them in her lessons because she's a teacher. And I kind of slipped in and I was like, oh yeah, there's the Q plus stuff. There's other letters.
There's an A.
I was like, do you know what asexuality is? And she was like, no. And I went, well, it's this. And I explained it. And I went, so that's me. and she was like, oh. She did the kind of like, oh, how do you know you haven't met the right person thing? But that was kind of like it, because then she was like, oh, well, you can be who you want to be. And then I just cried. So obviously that's quite a nice, wholesome experience. But sometimes when coming out, it's just a bit, I don't know, like I've been around a lot of LGBTQ plus people a lot anyway, especially kind of in the few years where I was not quite out to my mum. So she kind of did know about all of this stuff, but not quite. So I was definitely lucky, but I didn't want to come out on YouTube until I was out to her, because there was something like, firstly, scarily permanent about talking about it on YouTube. Like Twitter, it's a mess. It's an abyss. Like you tweet something 2 days later, it's just gone and forgotten, whatever. But on YouTube, it's just there. And I knew that my mum would see it if I talked about it. But I guess the best advice I would give is don't come out if you're not in a safe environment. That's the first thing. You've got to have a really strong support system, because it's not going to be safe for you otherwise. And safety is the most important thing. Even if you've got like close friends, parents who you can always go to, maybe more than your own, I think that's important as well. But
yeah, I think having like a trusted adult, especially if you're still in like high school or college, even if it's not your own parents,
it could be
like
a teacher,
a really nice teacher or something. Yeah, I feel like having someone that's kind of just like there to be a parental figure is like, it's very nice.
Yeah. I have another question from Moyo Koya.
How do you explain asexuality without making them confused as heck? I don't know if there is a way, honestly. Some people just can't quite get their heads around it in the way that we can. But just repeating the same kind of information, like, how do I phrase this? Some people, you need to just tell them more than once. You need to just say, well, no, not everyone feels this sexual attraction, feels the same way that you do. Like, that's not a normal thing. Like, there are people like me who don't. And then just kind of emphasize it and break it down into smaller bits. So I don't, so when I'm trying to explain it to people who don't really quite understand it, I just talk about asexuals who are most likely also going to be sex repulsed, don't masturbate, and are aromantic. And then if they seem to be understanding that, I'll go more in depth and I'll talk about different romantic identities and how they're not actually always the same. They're a bit anywhere. It's a spectrum. And then I would kind of go more in depth on each thing once they get it, but just having that key information first, almost like the stereotype, I guess, of asexuality, and then try and, I don't know, pick up based off of if they're getting it. But if they're not responding, then take a step back, have a conversation another time, and kind of try again, I guess, I think would be the best.
So, yeah, I would say sometimes it takes just multiple conversations.
Yeah.
People, they just don't get it at first because they're socialized to believe that being alloromantic and allosexual is normal. And so I think a lot of times it takes some time for them to sit with it. And as much as it does kind of suck to have to kind of like explain the stereotype to them of like, you know, because obviously not all asexual people are aroace.
Yeah.
But like sometimes you have to kind of start there and expand because people just don't understand the split model because it's not something that's often talked about in the mainstream.
Yeah, 100%.
How do you actually become able to be proud of being aroace?
This is a really good question. So I didn't really consider myself like proud of my sexuality for maybe about 2 years after I came out to myself. And I did a video with my friend Jake and my friend Alex as well about asexuality. And I did that on their channel. And I think that was the first time that I properly talked about asexuality on YouTube. That wasn't just I'm going to sit down, film this thing, film, edit, upload, and then just go. It was the first time that I properly sat down and spoke about it. And having people that were already, they were quite well established in the LGBTQ plus community wanting to hear my voice on their platforms was one of the most validating feelings for me. And I found after that, I was just kind of like, actually, I am proud of my sexuality and of my identity and who I am. Like, I don't know why I never really embraced it before. I just kind of thought, even though I knew that asexuality isn't something that's abnormal and I'm not broken, I still I felt that and it would really affect me. But at some point there was just kind of a moment where I went, actually, no, I'm really like, I don't know. There was just kind of like for me, there was really like a switch in my head where I just kind of went, actually, no, I am proud of myself. Yeah, but occasionally I do still feel a bit rubbish about it. Like, I obviously talk so much about asexuality online and anywhere people will listen to me. But sometimes I do still get really low days where I just feel still a bit broken and just not like everyone else, even though I know in the logical part of my brain that that's just not right. I've actually been thinking about doing a video on this for like the last 3 years. I think I've got a whole bunch of videos just set in the midst of my computer of me being upset about my sexuality and how I feel, and just moments that I've kind of captured when I'm feeling like I'm not proud of my sexuality and not proud of myself. And I kind of want to do a video where I almost debunk it. Like, I talk to past Demi and I go, you may feel like that and that it's okay to feel like that, but also that's not true. You're not broken. You're not alone. You're not going to live on your own for the rest of your life and just have 10 cats, although that would be great.
Sounds like
but yeah, I think the thing to remember is, even if people seem really, really proud of being asexual and aromantic, everyone has days where they just feel a bit rubbish about it.
And I think that really can apply to any orientation.
Yeah.
It's not just us, you know. Yeah. It may be us a little bit more often because society does tell us that we're like, this isn't normal. But I think it happens to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And I love that, it's like even someone like you who's constantly talking about it, like even you who to the outside may seem very proud and very okay with it always, obviously it's not the case. Everyone's gonna struggle with it.
Everyone has just days. As I said, I didn't come out to my mum for year and a half, 2 years. And it wasn't until after that I felt good. But that's because for me, I've got a quite close relationship with my mum. But I didn't come out to other members of my family. I don't know who I have come out to and who I haven't. Honestly, I think I came out to my grandma after I was on Sky News. So I got a really lovely email from her being like, oh, it's been lovely to see you on that. Hopefully we'll talk soon. I'm proud of you no matter who you are. And I was just like, I haven't seen my grandma in 10 years. She lives in Australia. So it's been a hot minute. But that was so sweet. But I never like explicitly kind of went to go and come out to her because I didn't know how really. Yeah.
On that wholesome note, I think it is time to move on to our next guest, Emily. Sorry, my sister's name is Emily, and it just comes out of my mouth.
It's similar, it's fine.
Emily, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been very exciting. I'm going to stick around and watch and be in the chat and all of that.
Fun. Everyone chat with Emmy.
Also,
Indeed.
don't forget to donate.
Yes, please donate. Emmy, where can people find you if they don't know who you are?
I am. I wasn't prepared for that. My username on pretty much everything is Embly99. Just EMBLY. Or if you just search Emmy Salida, I probably come up because I am one of the only people with my name, which is great. So yeah, I'll be sitting in the chat for a bit, and if you can always click on my channel from there and find me, but my usernames are the same on everything, so if you find me on one thing, you can find me anywhere, and once I'm there, you will never get rid of me. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Bye, Emily.
Bye.
Do we want to read some more donations before we bring our next guest on?
Many. Do you want to read them?
I think you should read them because you have the extra monitor and my extra monitor is broken.
I have a very nice monitor right here. Okay, what's the last one we read? I think we had Meg. So we have Anonymous, Fee, who sent a heart, Patrick Hebden, John Arrow Solidarity, Bleep Yeah. Yes. Latai Williams, Sandy and Kevin, my mom and my dad.
Aw, hi Sandy and Kevin.
Selene. Oh, I don't think I said it. I said hello from France. Thank you for organizing this. Love the podcast. Thank you. I'm sorry that I probably said your name wrong.
You took French for so long.
Solène. Just kidding. That's Italian, but not. Madeline, who sent a smiley face. Book Marvel, hello. Melissa, Beth, and AA, who says thank you. How much are we up to now? Let's refresh and check.
We are at about
2,522.51. Yay!
Yay! Thank you so much. Again, this money is going towards a wonderful cause, and we love bringing ASPEC communities together for such a good thing. On that note,
I agree.
On that note, we're gonna bring our next guests in. They are both from the Aromantic Spectrum Union for Recognition, Education, and Advocacy, or ARIA. I asked them, and apparently there is no correct way to say it, so living our lives. Everyone welcome Alex and Kieran.
Hello. Howdy.
Wow.
How
are you guys doing?
I'm doing okay.
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm just chilling in my room.
I got up, I made tea, and I'm good.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, can you guys just tell us a little bit about ARIA and what you guys do?
Yeah, who wants to start? I guess I can start. So basically, we kind of do like what's in the name. So like, I didn't actually plan this out. What do? We do a lot of things. Like, Alex, do you want to say what we do? Because my brain is just not working right now.
You're doing great, Kieran.
Yeah, no, we do a lot of things here and there where we can. One of the main things we do is, obviously we reach out in terms of visibility. We're like super into raising that awareness of aromanticism. We do our feed, we do news articles, we talk about what's happening in the community, topics we think are interesting. We try and share and boost others where we can. We just sort of do here and there, try and find out ways we can help.
Yeah.
Supporting the arrows.
Yeah, honestly, I'd say that about sums it up. Like, we just try to spread awareness, basically, to aromanticism.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I know when we kind of talked about what you two were going to talk about, I know you were kind of talking about mostly just like having a conversation with each other, but I will kick you off by saying, how did you figure out you were aromantic?
Do you want to go first, Kieran?
Okay, you can go first.
Okay. So I figured it out through Tumblr, actually. So for a very long time, I thought I was bisexual. Pretty much, I don't remember a time where I didn't think I was bi. Like all through high school. And then I'd been out a couple of years and I came across a post that was like one of your typical Arrow 101 posts. I was like, oh, that sounds familiar. Oh, hey, I think that's me. And I sort of sat down and had to think about it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's me. So, you know, it's not a long story how I figured it out, but
yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, how do you identify like your full identity?
I identify as queer aromantic.
Okay.
Pretty much it. I'm genderqueer. I'm polyamorous. I still feel a connection to the bi label, but I don't really use it. But in general, I'm just aromantic. And so to encompass all the other sort of caveats to that, I call myself queer aromantic.
Okay.
So
fair enough. How about you, Kieran?
Oh yeah. So I don't know, my figuring out story, I guess. I was gonna call it a coming out story, but I don't know if I'm really actually out to my parents or not. It's just kind of like weird. But how I figured out I was aromantic, I first heard of the term on Tumblr. And like I started questioning around like sophomore year of high school. But like then I was like, you know what? No, I'm probably just afraid of dating. So I like dated people some more. Cause like I dated people before and I was just never happy. And then finally it came around to like senior year of high school where I was like, you know what? It's been like a year since I've actually like been in a relationship and I actually just liked not doing it, you know? Like I was so much happier just spending time with my friends and not having to worry about that kind of stuff. Like it just wasn't something on my mind. It never even felt like really natural when I was like in a relationship either. It all just felt like weird. Like I was like, I don't know, a robot, just like just acting it out. All the things that I thought were supposed to be in a romantic relationship. So once I figured out that like I don't actually have to do this, I kind of just like accepted that I was aromantic and that I didn't really like people in that way. Yeah.
It seems from the comments that a lot of people figured it out from Tumblr. I know I did.
Yeah.
So Tumblr is a bit of a dumpster fire, but also it's a good place for the arrows to find themselves.
Yeah.
Awesome. Part of me like doesn't know how to answer this question myself, but like what does being aromantic mean to you? Like how does it impact like your, I guess it is your identity, but how does it impact just like the way you live your life?
To me, my aromanticism is freedom, is what it means. It's the freedom to be myself, the freedom to live the life I want, the way I want to live my life. Like I said, I'm polyamorous. I currently have 2 partners, both of whom are sleeping because it's 4 a.m. for me now.
Bless your soul.
Yeah, it's great. I have tea, it's fine. But yeah, it all sort of combines together, and aromanticism was the big step where I sort of went, okay, the normal society idea of, you know, a husband and a house and 2 kids and a picket fence, that's not what I want. And I was able to sort of let that all go and then figure out how I wanted to live my life. And that was really the catalyst for it. So yeah, my aromanticism is very freeing, and it's given me a lot of freedom.
Nice. Kieran, do you have anything to add to that?
Not really. Like I basically would like describe it pretty much the same way. Like aromanticism means to me that like is basically accepting that I don't need like a centralized relationship to be happy. So like just accepting that I am aromantic has given me a lot of freedom.
Yeah. I think that's a very arrow experience, is like just, you know, realizing that you don't have to do what everyone else seems to be doing, whether they're straight or whether they're queer in some other way. And just kind of being able to be like, okay, I can decide, you know, how I want to live my life. And that's true of everyone. But I think especially if you're aro and you don't feel that romantic attraction, it can be, it's weird. It's weird to kind of like figure things out and be like, oh, I can do whatever the hell I want. Because this is just how I experience the world.
Like before, I guess there's just like when you're younger, especially when I was younger, like I always thought that like you dated people and then you married them and that's just what people did. So I did that too. And then it just didn't feel right for me, you know? But then like after that, for a while, I was like, well, if I'm not doing this, then like, what do I do now? But then I guess it's like my choice. I can do whatever, you know?
Exactly. And you can have just as fulfilling of relationships without being in a romantic one. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle to understand about aromanticism. But
yeah, I feel like my friendships were definitely more fulfilling than when I did like have a romantic relationship. Like I wouldn't even consider the people I dated my friends. They were more like acquaintances, just like dudes that I knew. So there was definitely also some like internalized heteronormativity there too. But yeah.
Yeah. How does being aromantic interact with other identities you have?
Kieran, you can go first on this one.
Okay. Yeah, so it interacts in like a lot of ways. I'm mostly gonna talk about like how it interacts with me being gray ace. I literally kind of just figured that out. Because like I started questioning like the beginning of the year if I was like gray ace or not. But like what I learned from that is that there's not actually like a set definition for sexual attraction. It's like one of those things that everyone else defines differently. Because like I asked a bunch of people about it, and one of them defined it one way, and one of them defined it a different way. So like, what was I gonna say? Like I wrote notes, but also looking at them is hard.
You're totally good.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah, no, I totally lost my train of thought.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of everyone experiences like attraction or a lack thereof a little bit differently. And so I think like a lot of people are just like, oh, well, like you'll know it when you feel it. And it's like, well,
it's not exactly like that. Like
I don't know it.
No, at first I was like, at first I didn't think I was feeling sexual attraction. I just thought it was like a combination of like curiosity, I trust this person, like libido is kind of high, and like a whole bunch of other stuff like sensual attraction and whatnot. And like then I really thought about it, and like maybe all that together is sexual attraction, you know? It definitely can be for some people. But then I've also talked to some people who have that exact same experience, but they wouldn't call it sexual attraction. So I guess I use grace in more of a way that like sometimes I am okay with trying this thing out with a person. But yeah, and how that interacts with my aromanticism, I guess, is that like, so you know how like a lot of people kind of think that like romantic attraction and sexual attraction are like one and the same. It gets kind of hard when they're not, especially if you feel sexual attraction, but you don't really feel romantic attraction. Because like, yeah, there's like friends with benefits, but that's kind of like downplayed, I guess, you know, because like, I don't know, my friendships are really important to me. Because I guess they're kind of like a centralized relationship. Well, for me, they're like my main relation. They're my only relationship, except for with my cat, I guess. But like,
pet relationship.
Cat is a valid relationship.
Really important.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I guess it also gets kind of weird because like, sex isn't something generally people talk about. Like, despite the fact that it's like in all of the songs on the radio, like when it comes to daily lives, people just don't talk about it. So you kind of just like stuff it up inside you and just let it sit there, I guess.
It's seen as like this overarching thing that everyone experiences, but it's also taboo at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it can get awkward.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna leave you with one more question. How would you like to see aromantic advocacy grow?
My main thing would be more visibility. Like, it's always brought up that asexual is sort of a very invisible orientation, and that is very true. And there have been some great strides for asexual visibility recently. And I would love to see the same sort of strides for aromantic visibility. You know, it's the thing that sort of, you say what it is and everyone's like, oh, what's that? Even people who would know about asexual. And it's, you know, it's kind of sad being that is my entire identity. And yeah, I mean, that's my main hope is, and that's why I love working with Aurea, because that's exactly what they're trying to do, is trying to raise that visibility. It's honestly been a pleasure and a delight to do this work and to make some contributions towards trying to add some more visibility to the green flag.
Love that green flag. Kieran, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, actually. Well, see, what I'm really interested in is seeing more like aromantic characters in the media, because there's just not a lot. Like, I've read some webcomics and stuff.
Make our Jughead
like,
canon, you cowards.
Yeah, no. And then there's this other webcomic that I read that there was like a side character who was Aro Ace, and that was cool, but they were a side character, so you didn't really see much of them. And I would like more main characters that are aromantic, and just aesthetic in general, I guess. But
on the rare occasion that there is a spec representation, it's usually ace representation. And
or Aro Ace.
or Aro Ace. And it doesn't really go into...
Yeah, to add on to that, I would love to see some aromantic representation that wasn't asexual. I would love to see some Aro Allers, or just Arrows, like myself. I personally don't identify as allosexual or asexual. I'm just Aro. Sexualities don't care.
I mean, like...
I would love to see more characters like myself in the media. Like... that'd be amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. I was gonna say, like, even though I am in the ace spectrum, I guess sometimes I do relate more to people who are just Aro or allo Aros, because like, I don't know, I've just been feeling this kind of like disconnect with me and asexuality. I don't know why it is. It's just I'm more like in touch with the aromantic community. But yeah. Speaking about characters and stuff, so like I'm trying to make a webcomic. Yeah, I'm trying. That's all I can say. Like,
good.
Because like with college and all that stuff, it I'm like pretty busy all the time, so I don't have enough time to draw, but like I like drawing. There was this one webcomic that I started, but since school was in the way, I couldn't finish it all the way through. So my plan is once summer comes around, I'm just gonna like work on a comic. I plan the one that I'm making to be a lot shorter, but there are going to be Aromantic characters. One of them will be Arrow Ace, but one of them will be just Arrow. And hopefully it's good.
Awesome.
Hopefully people like it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Where will people be able to find that?
So like somewhere on Webtoon or like Tapas. Once I get it finished, I am definitely going to like ask Aria if they can like just advertise it for me and know what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Also, feel free to let us know. We can share it as well. We would love to.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Anything you want to plug? Your own social media, Aurea?
I mean, there's nothing on my social media, but like
Fair.
Animal Crossing memes. So, but yeah, definitely check out Aurea. If you're interested in learning more about aromantism, reading about some of our articles, you know, we have a lot of interesting topics related to the Arrow community. And you can find us at aromanticism.org, I believe is the URL. It auto completes it for me, so I forget it all the time.
Yeah, that is the URL. It's
just Google
aromanticism.org. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Yay.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Kayla, can you give us some more donors?
I can. Oh,
Into the grid.
Okay, I'm going back. I have to go backwards. Okay, so we have Elizabeth B, who said we're acing this. No Wiz, who is moderating the chat, also with Thunder right now. Thank you to both of them. Emmy donated, and it's just awesome, and we love her. Alina, who helped make the donation more even by throwing some cents in there. Now we have some nice even zeros. Anonymous, Uncle Kevin, who's pausing his re-listen to be here. Thank you. Simona, and then my beautiful other podcast, Into the Grid, is also donating money, which is very sweet. So if you like D&D, you can go on a podcast.
Also, shouting out the blog, The Ace Mind. I've never been to it, but I support Aceness. So
yes.
Fantastic. The site isn't letting you in to donate. Oh no.
Oh no.
Well, it'll be up for the next week. So
it'll be up until my birthday on May 9th. So if you want to give me a present. Sarah, for anyone that's just joining, should we do kind of a recap of who we are and what we're doing before next guest comes?
Me and Kayla run a podcast called Sounds Fake But Okay. Which is about asexuality, aromanticism, love, relationships, sexuality, pretty much anything else we just don't understand. I identify as Arrow Ace. Kayla identifies as demisexual. What do you just say? Demi-straight? Is that what you say?
I say that, but the correct term, I guess, would be demisexual, hetero-romantic. I just say straight. I don't know.
But yeah, we're out here raising money for the World Health Organization, United Nations. I always forget the
COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund.
Thank you. I can never remember the name of it.
Link right there.
Yes, tinyurl.com/donate6feet.
Donate all of your feet.
Donate all 6 of your feet. All right, Kayla, who's joining us next?
Next, sorry, I was just looking at Instagram, so someone tag us. Next, we have Tumblr royalty and asexual. That's what Yasmin said, and I agree. And also just like asexual advocate, been here forever. We have Rose Sinclair from Fuck Yeah, Asexual.
Hey, Rose. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted. Rose, come back.
Sorry, I had to lose my mouse, so I had to touchpad
it. Welcome.
Hi, that was a nice intro.
Yay, we're so excited to have you, and we're very excited because you have a book coming out very soon.
I do. I have a mock-up copy of it, so you can see that.
Oh, fancy.
You can see the back, which you can't with the ebook.
Oh my god.
kind of like that Pokemon Go summer. I literally saw the first Pokemon Go trailer, and I talked to my friend who's also a writer, and I was like, we need to write something like that. We need to do it. And then I convinced him, and now we have a whole book that's out on May 5th.
That's so exciting.
That's Tuesday. That's so close.
So close.
I have a
72
question.
hours.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
I know that books come out on Tuesdays. Do you know why?
It's just a publishing thing. The business answer is half tradition, half big publishers. They count their sales for the week. So if you do it on Tuesday, you get the most of the week possible.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter so much these days since it's so hybrid of like who can publish and who does it, but that's where tradition kicks in. So I always pick Tuesday because I work for a publisher. I'm like, no, books come out on Tuesday.
Come out on Tuesday. Tired Panda wants to know, what's the book called?
Press start.
Press start.
Can you give us kind of like a plot overview trailer? All of that.
There is actually a trailer, which is fun. But
I
anyway,
watched that this morning, actually.
oh my goodness. Okay. It starts with a new player who's basically a complete novice. They wanted the game. They didn't get it because their family's kind of poor. But for the 16th birthday, they get these ghost glasses, and they're kind of like if Google Glass actually worked, and then they augment reality. Kind of like how Pokemon Go tries, but doesn't really. They like legit change your surroundings. So people gather in parks and have these big like almost events that they can see with these like clear glasses that they play the game on. And it goes through their intro of the game and them just having fun and then accidentally being really good at it and then trying to figure out how to stay good at it. And one of the national winners befriends them and they try to get themselves to the nationals so they can keep playing together, and that's basically the plot. It's very low stress, which is something I wanted to write because
something we all need right now.
I started writing in 2016 and it has been nothing but stressful since then. So my little like ray of sunshine of it's okay.
I think someone I saw ask in the chat asked if there was any ace characters in the book.
Yes, the love interest is demisexual. Yeah, I like all my books. I have a little file here, so I just have to do it. All my books have.
Oh my god!
They all have different types of aces in them. Just because you gotta.
You have to.
You gotta. So, Press Start, which is the newest one, has a demi-girl protagonist, and then the love interest is a demisexual girl, and that's it for the ace rep on that one. But it's a bigger character, so.
We love ace rep in all forms, ace spec rep in all forms. Love that.
My database of collecting every canon character I can possibly find in almost anything. It's amazing to see the list like blow up. Well, comparatively, it feels like a lot for me because I started and it was like 12 and now it's like 200. Sometimes I won't do it for a couple months and there'll be 6 more and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my god, even founder David J here sending love to all.
Oh my god, David. Hello? Dad?
David?
Dad?
Hello.
Oh, I'm starstruck. Hi, David. Okay. No, we're focusing on Rose. Rose, so I was stalking your website and Twitter and everything thoroughly to do my homework.
Okay.
And I love your page that's just like all of like the book highlights and the books you've done and the book rep. Like, when did you get into like, because obviously you've been on the internet doing ace stuff for forever. But when did you really get into like books? And I'm going to like focus a ton on like writing and publishing and stuff like that.
I probably kind of always did some sort of writing as an escape in a way. I had like a role play background where you go on forums and you just write stuff and it's not a big deal. And then at the end of college, I was like, no, this is actually really important to me. Maybe I should do something. And so I started writing more. And I started making the rec lists and finding all these ace characters, kind of to help the burnout of when Tumblr specific, as great as it is, it has a specific brand of toxicity. So to back away from that, I just kind of like shifted my focus to something like I could care about and could be positive and fun. So I just didn't want to like, okay, blog done. The blog started in 2013, and I think I started finding characters in 2015 or 2015 probably.
That's awesome. I'm kind of curious about, like, I think it's so true that Tumblr is like, and like we just talked about it earlier, how it's like very helpful for a lot of people, but also can be kind of just like a suck and like very upsetting. And I know that like, I feel like a lot of the community has kind of transferred over to like Twitter and Instagram as of late. So I'm kind of just interested in like your perspective, since you've been in the community, like on the internet for so many years. How have you seen it kind of like change and evolve?
It's really interesting because like I get almost a fondness of Tumblr when people like be like, oh, Tumblr is like shit or whatever. I'm like, no, Tumblr is important. There have been
my home.
Yeah, like no, Tumblr is my favorite. There's not like some weird story about like, oh, we subverted democracy accidentally. So like Tumblr was my favorite. And it is interesting. The first 2 years, roughly, my dates are going to be approximations, were the type of acephobia you would see. It was a very bingo style, but you could actually have a discussion of like, no, this is what asexuality is. And you would have more of a give and take of actual discussions. And then the more asexual awareness grew. And then when there started to be studies that were released and, you know, documented and scientifically sound, all that kind of hate turned more into the type that you can't really get through to. And I think that was what was so jarring for aspec people across Tumblr, because it went from, I used to be able to kind of have a discussion with people who were hateful, and now like it's almost, I feel it's dangerous too, which is really true for all social media, but for Tumblr to go from a safe space to less so was definitely jarring. I think it's really interesting. You can track the awareness to fandom culture. I found like an old post recently that it just reiterates of like, if someone can't be a biphobe, they might be a transphobe. And if that's not an obvious option, the fandoms will go after aces. And then the fandom further spread awareness, but also further spread fandom infighting, which really doesn't ever get you anywhere.
Yeah, it's definitely like, it's sad that as more and more as like asexual and aromantic visibility grows, it's like kind of, there's more people there that are going to fight with you just because more people know about it. And it's like, it's every time there's a good step, there comes like a little bit of just like extra work that you also have to do.
Yeah.
2 steps forward, 1 step back, always.
It was really interesting during the GLAAD event, which actually the first time David J randomly showed up and surprised me.
I'm still a little starstruck. I'm going to be honest, I was like zoning out a little bit in the past 5 minutes because I was like, David J is here.
David's walking.
Yeah. We, like, Tumblr specifically did a thing that made GLAAD put out a statement saying like, oh, sorry, the A is for asexual and aromantic and agender, because a whole bunch of A people on Tumblr were like, we want that letter. It's important to us. Here's why. And during that time, it was about a 3-day push of just like, let's keep contacting them. Let's keep reblogging. Let's keep tweeting. The pushback came like 4 days later, which was really a show of how reactionary the hate is.
Yeah, I think especially like during Ace Week and Pride Month, it seems like it kind of grows a little bit in reaction, because I feel like more ASpec and AeroSpec people kind of come out during, not like come out of the closet, but are just like out and about, I guess, like talking about their sexuality during that time. And that's when people start getting like angry for some reason.
Yeah, like the times when the community is the most like together and the most like visible is also the time when there's the most attack.
Yeah, for sure. It's just someone has to be the party pooper sort of way. It's very, I find it really interesting because Faye, another mod on our blog, and we started using the word ace discourse as a very specific explanation of the discussions on social media about asexuality and two asexuals. Mm-hmm. And then it started just snowballing into like anything was ace discourse, just because some hate it gets to a point where it's not good faith anymore. So that's when you started seeing allo used as like a more self-appointed in a more like, well, I'm straight, but I'm going to call myself allo because it annoys aces. It's like, that's not how these words were invented or described or tried to be coined in the community. But you get more awareness and then you kind of get problems with it. But it's a net good because I see people now. I used to never get any ass that were like, I always loved myself as an ace. They were always like, no, this is something that like I hated. And now I'll have like messages from like high schoolers be like, I didn't know like there was such a pushback towards this because the community as a whole did so much to protect kind of like the youth for a while on Tumblr. And it's great because those kids didn't suffer in the same way you and I or other people might have, but it gives them new challenges because their interactions are going to be different.
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle for anyone who's like simultaneously trying to figure out their identity, and then also they might go on Tumblr, on Twitter, on YouTube to try to get help, and then instead just run into a bunch of negativity. It's just not going to help anyone in the process.
For sure. It's interesting, but it gets very kind of queer theory. So then you have new people who don't know why even in community terms were coined the way they were. So you have growing pains.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of switching the topic, but it was something I also wanted to ask you about, another project. The ASpec journal that Fuck Yeah, Asexual has been kind of like talking about engaging interest about. I just wanted to ask you about it, like what it is, and try to like, I don't know, if anyone that's watching hasn't heard of it, to spread awareness to them.
Okay. My mod Faye, who was the second mod that joined the blog, there is a total of 5 of us now. Just Faye came to me and was like, I want to do this zine that's full color, has articles and art, and I want like swag for it. So they did a survey to see if they could have pins and all this kind of fun stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's totally up my alley. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think the closest that it reminds me of is the Asexual art book that was done in 2013, I think, which was just full of community art that people did during a Pride Day. So it's going to be a little bit like that, but instead of being dedicated to just art, it's going to have articles, fiction, and possibly non. And just more. And I thought that was just a great evolution of what was done before.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And I took a whole like zine class in school, and so I love.
Kayla, were you in a feminism class?
I wasn't in my feminism class. I was in a different class that was about just zines. So it's very exciting to see them like move online and still be part of like the queer community and the ace community. It's very neat. It's on Twitter, right? The ASpec Journal, if people want to find more info about that.
I think it's ASpecJ, just the letter, because it gets too long.
Too many letters.
It's the problem with the blog's name sometimes, that or people don't want to say the bad word. So there's like, but.
It's at ASpecJ or aspecjournal.tumblr.com if anyone's interested. It's very cool.
And the main blog and the Twitter also retweet and reblog it. So if you have trouble, just keep an eye on that and you'll see it pop up.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Kayla, I was trying to look it up on Twitter, and then Twitter came up and was
never go on Twitter.
I'm very sorry. Well, thank you so much for being on, Rose. Do you have like a specific like a website or Twitter you want people to go to find your book?
Yeah, you can pre-order this beautiful YA book that's funny and cute, in my humble opinion. You can go to greatace.club and you can pre-order both this and the ebook version. And it's also an email sign up where I will try to find a free ebook and send it out that has a canon SpACE character or author every month.
Oh,
it's awesome. A little awkward right now because I don't want authors to be giving so much for free, but greatace.club.
Awesome.
Hey.
Everyone go get the book. It's going to be really good. I'm excited. I want to read it really bad. So everyone go look it up and follow. I'm sure everyone is following Fuck Yeah, I say Asexual on Tumblr, but follow it anyway.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Rose.
Bye.
All right.
David, you're making me nervous.
I got so starstruck, and then I felt so bad because I was like, I'm not paying enough attention to Rose because I'm just sitting here thinking about how David J is here.
David is making me nervous. Okay.
Let's read some more donors.
I will.
The first one, you can't read the whole name, but I know who it is. It's Amanda Juntinen. Thank you, Amanda.
Oh, we know.
That's my sister's girlfriend.
Yes. Hello. Let's see. We have Cass, who says, keep up the great work. I think Cass is a podcast listener who I'm friends with on Animal Crossing. So
nice.
That's you. Hello. Marlene, thank you for the stream. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thunder, thank you for the pod, the advocacy and assembling all these amazing voices. Thank you for being here and modding for us. Toast. Thank you.
Toast.
Lila, thank you for doing this. It's great to have community in this times like this. It's so true. That's like a big reason we wanted to do this. Scotland 89. I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow to the knee.
Arrow, A-R-O, obviously.
I agree. How much are we up to now? But two.
Can you read?
No, I'm so scared. $2,751. That's so much money.
That's fantastic.
Right. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Our next guest is the patron of our podcast that we didn't know until last week because we're absolute idiots.
Stupid.
He's known from the internet, the YouTubes. You might see him on Twitter. It's Daniel from Slice of Ace.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm also currently very nervous about David J being in the chat.
I know what David is thinking about.
I was prepared for everything else. I was not prepared for David.
I was prepared for like Barack Obama to come here before David J.
Imagine if Barack Obama showed up. Jesus.
Can we like email him or something?
Yeah, sure. Let's just get his. I have his email address. Sure. Okay, Daniel, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. I did some decorating while I was away.
I saw
Wonderful.
that.
I love it.
Looks lovely. Incredible. For the people out there who don't know who you are, first of all, how? Second of all, who are you?
I imagine there's lots of people who don't know who I am. Or if they're not, I'm more terrified than I was a second ago. Yes, I'm Daniel, and I run the Slice of Ace YouTube channel where I talk about asexuality and such from the perspective of identifying as homo-romantic asexual.
Oh, we love a visual aid.
Yeah. Awesome. So, as you just said, obviously, you're homo-romantic asexual. How has that experience been?
Interesting. So during secondary school, I guess formative years, I internally identified as essentially arrow ace, but I didn't have the language for it. Just because I wasn't really interested in relationships and sex. There we go. But I think a lot of that was because being gay is very heavily sexualized. So that made it seem like I couldn't be gay and not want sex at the same time. So it took me until I learned about asexuality and until I learned about the SpACE attraction model for me to realize that, oh yes, I can be both at the same time. I can be gay and asexual.
Mm-hmm. So you're in a relationship.
Drama.
That's one way to broach the topic. Yes,
I'm Airways. I don't know how to approach anything.
Claire doesn't know how to talk about things.
Yes, and he's currently watching.
Oh, hi. Hi, Daniel's relationship human. I guess how has dating been for you as a homoromantic ace?
Yeah, so obviously there's I should probably say that my boyfriend is allo. He identifies as gay, and obviously that can be a bit of a scary thing to navigate, I suppose. I guess the way I went about it, I went on dating sites quite a lot because, one, being gay, it's a lot easier, and to meet people outside of a bar or something, because that's in itself a very sexualized space. And I think the advantage in doing that was that I could put asexual front and center on my dating profile and kind of weed out all the people who wouldn't be interested in a relationship with me because of that, which is unfortunate that is the case. But
did you find any like weirdness on dating sites when you did that? Because when I was dating, did the same thing. I was like on Tinder and I had demisexual in my thing. And at one point, I think it was during ACE week, I like changed my whole bio to just be about ACE stuff. And I tried to educate people on Tinder, which was interesting. So I'm just curious, like what your kind of experience was there.
Yeah, it's weird when the first conversation you have with someone is about your sexuality.
Yeah.
I think, and especially when you're trying to date someone, you want to know about them, but that's not really the thing that would normally come up.
Yeah, you don't usually walk into a date like, so what do you or not want to what do you not want to do? What are you not attracted to in terms of genitalia and the use thereof?
It can be very awkward, yeah.
Yeah.
But fortunately, what I found, because I went on Tinder and OkCupid at the same time because I was multitasking. But
it's an ace specialty.
I found that people are actually quite understanding, maybe because I was being very selective on who I like swiped positively on. I can't remember which direction it was. But yeah, so I think I managed to avoid most of it. There was one date I went on where I was like friend zoned halfway through because he was like, yeah, I'm not sure I can date someone who's asexual. And it's like,
why did you go on this date then? What are you doing here?
It was
that's not how dating works, sir. I just received a text from my sister that exclusively says genitalia and the use thereof. So
good.
That's the thing I said. Oh man. So do you have any advice for any ace people who are not aromantic in terms of approaching relationships and dating?
Yeah, I think I think the first thing is to decide whether you're willing to date someone who is allo or whether you just rather want to seek out people who are ace as well, because that's going to depend on where you look for, I guess, dates, because it depends what your boundaries are and what you're comfortable with as to whether you'd be compatible. But obviously, if you're just dating ace people, there's a smaller amount, but you're probably going to have a higher success rate than if you're just trying to date loads of allos. And I think it's important to realize that, yes, there is a disparity between like your sexual need as an ace and as an allo. But even in a relationship between two allos, there's going to be that same disparity, even if it isn't as distinct. Yes, that was a lot of words. Sorry.
No, it's good. I was in preparation for this, I was doubling up. I listened to the episode of A-OK that you were on.
Oh yeah.
And I definitely thought it was interesting when you were talking about like in terms of like not everyone who's allo is going to be willing to date an ace person, and that's not necessarily like it's something against being ace. It's just some people need that sexual aspect of their relationship. So I mean, do you find that just like being the irony of being straight with it outright?
It's impossible to talk about relationships and use straight, even if it's not in the.
You can't. But like, do you find that like for you, it's just best to just like be straight with it and like put everything all out there?
Yeah. So obviously, I had asexual front and center on the profile, and even if I didn't, I don't think I'd go past the first date into the second date without mentioning it and just checking that they kind of knew what they're on about. I don't want to like tell them everything about me and straight away. And but I think it's important to have that conversation about your sexuality, which is it's unfortunate that you have to do that because you're kind of forced into coming out if you want to be in that relationship. But it's going to save you a lot of time and like stress if you get out of the way at the start, I think. Yeah,
that is the struggle of being A-spec, is that you're forced to come out a lot. But interesting question from Marlene. How do you figure out what you're comfortable with and set boundaries with allo partners?
So it took me failing a relationship and then kind of having a lot of time by myself to kind of work through what went wrong with that relationship to because that was with an allo as well, to work out what my boundaries were, because I realized that I did love him, and because of that and because of the way I am, I wasn't respecting my own boundaries and I was doing things that I was uncomfortable with. So it took me having that failure and then realizing, okay, this is what I'm happy with, this is what I'm comfortable with, and this is what I'm willing to do afterwards. I think that comes down to the way I think, just because I'll put everyone else before myself, which isn't particularly the most healthy thing to do.
Don't do that.
Sarah, it's me.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine that leads to some kind of difficult conversations, but they're important conversations to have, I think, regardless of the sexual and romantic orientations of anyone in any sort of relationship.
Yeah, I think having an open line of communication in a relationship is very important, even if none of you are ace, even if it's an allo-allo relationship, or even if you're both ace, because ace people, having two ace people dating doesn't mean they'll necessarily be compatible, like romantically, essentially sexually and all that. So I think I always say to my boyfriend quite often, like, is there anything you want to talk about? I like keeping that open line of communication open, so if we're both comfortable talking to each other about it, and if there is a problem, we can say, okay, there is a problem, and then we talk about it. At least I hope that's the case. Confirm this, boyfriend.
Yeah. That's good. Hey, Kayla, can you check our Twitter?
Can I check our Twitter?
Don't say anything. Just check our Twitter. Anyway, sorry. What is okay? I'm reading the sentence and I'm not knowing what it says. Wait, it says any questions that come up could then lead the conversation. What does that mean?
It means that if you have any questions or if the chat has any questions, then...
That makes sense. My brain, I've read these questions before and it made sense before, and now I'm like, wait, my brain's all over the place.
It's called the David J effect.
It's the David J effect. My brain is gone. This is interesting. As an asexual person who feels romantic attraction, how would you describe what romantic attraction is for you?
Yeah, so my romantic attraction is tied quite heavily into my sensual attraction. So if I'm romantically attracted to someone, I will want to be close to them, want to hug them, want to kiss them. I know it's not necessarily the same for both people, for everyone, but that's the way I feel it personally. I think it's just spending time with them and I guess relying on them and having that person there who you can talk to, who you can be with. You can, just spend time with like a really good friend, but somehow it's romantic and I don't really know. It's this nebulous thing which is very hard to explain. And I hate to be one of those people where it's like, oh, you'll know it when you feel it. But
you'll know it when you feel it. And if you don't feel it, then you don't feel it. Yeah,
but then you don't know if you don't feel it, because
you don't know.
How do you know that you don't feel it if you don't feel it?
Nothing makes sense. Nothing is real. Oh man. All right. Do you experience aesthetic attraction from a cat who reads?
Yes.
Is that a Camp Half-Blood shirt? A cat who reads? Sorry. Off topic.
Yes, guys are hot. Yes, if that's the question, basically. Yeah, honestly, I don't really know what to say to that.
That's a succinct answer, and I love it.
Yeah, I guess I'm quite visual. Like, even when I'm in a relationship, I'll still notice other guys, and to be, it's quite fortunate that my boyfriend's accepting of that, because then we'll just talk about hot guys all the time, which is fun.
See, I've never, as an Aroways person, I've never understood when people are like jealous that their partner finds someone else attractive. It's like, especially if it's like a same-sex queer relationship, you can bond over that person's great ass. Like, I just like, yeah, I agree. I find people aesthetically attractive, and I'm Aroways. That it doesn't mean anything necessarily.
Yeah, it's not like I can find someone attractive without wanting to do anything with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't get jealous if my boyfriend's like, oh, this person's good looking, and I don't think he does to me either.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could stare at Tessa Thompson all day long. That doesn't make me any less Aroways.
Fair.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Daniel. Where can the people find you?
Thank you for having me. So yes, I have the YouTube channel SpACE. I'll throw the link in the description, in the comments in a bit, probably.
I think it's also in, hopefully, the description too.
It's in the description of this video, I do believe.
Well, if it's in the description, then I won't. You've done the job for me. Yeah, and then I also have a Twitter, which is SpACE as well. Basically, search SpACE and you'll find me.
Just shout SpACE into the void, and then
the YouTube video will show up right in front of your face.
You have to do it and like get a pentagram and put some like a cake on the each point of the star, and then
it's how you summon him.
And then he'll show up in your apartment.
Yeah, I also got a request to show my toy cow on the stream. So.
Oh
yes, cow.
This is Fergus.
Oh my god, how beautiful!
I have Georgie.
Oh, I have my cow. It's back in Connecticut. I'm sorry.
This dummy left Herbert in Connecticut.
I'm very sorry.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much. Everyone, if you don't follow Daniel, you should. This is true of all of our guests, but
also
Daniel. All right. Thank you, Daniel. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Daniel. I texted you. Can you check your text?
I'm sorry, there's a siren. Kayla, talk for a minute.
Okay, I'm gonna read our donors. We have one very good one that came in while Daniel was talking, and it's from Daniel's Relationship Human, who says, "Woo to the who." It's funny. David J donated. Thank you, David. Anonymous. Daniel's Relationship Human. Thank you. The Avon Project team. Thank you, Avon, for all your help with this and for donating. That's amazing. Campbell, Danny, I think. I'm sorry. And Andrew Hull. I think that's all the ones we got while Daniel was speaking. Yes, thank you. We've passed 3,000.
Woo! I'm going to take this time to take the Alex Boniello approach where, all right now, guys, everyone who's watching, you don't have to give a lot of money, but stop drag racing outside my house. But if you give $4.20 and write the caption, "Nice,"
Oh my God.
we can raise a lot of money that way. $4.20 isn't that much money. Obviously not everyone can give that, but if it's the cost of like apparently a nice Starbucks drink, I don't drink
Cheaper
things.
than a Starbucks drink, I think.
It's cheaper than a Starbucks drink. So if anyone wants to donate $4.20 and say nice,
we will also say nice.
we will say nice. And we'll thank you. Thank you very, very much. Just saying. So, sorry, there's a lot going on. My brain is overwhelmed. Kayla, who's our next guest?
I'm sorry, there's a lot going on.
Y'all don't know. There's things going on behind the scenes.
Okay, our next guest is another person who's on YouTube, also just the internet. Also, when things aren't the way they are right now, you can see them live if you're in the right part of the world. It's Elliot Simpson, the amazing comedian.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I just can't get over how fancy you are.
I'm just my casual clothes, you know, going informal today.
Yeah, the quarantine look that we're all having is definitely a full suit.
It's the quarantine look. It's when I'm drinking tea. It's my tea outfit.
Ooh, yes, I love it.
Thank you.
Well, welcome. Welcome.
I am queer. I occasionally eat deer.
Are they good? Hey, yummy.
It's fine. It'll do. How are you?
We're doing great.
We're good. Feeling like I should be wearing a blazer right now.
No, I feel so underdressed.
Well, I live in Scotland. It's very chilly here.
That's fair. So you are a comedian, and you do a lot of. You are. Don't make that face.
It's not for me to say. I do my best. It's up to the public to decide.
I personally find you comedic.
I agree. You made a very funny trailer video for this, which was very incredible.
I told Kayla this. It wasn't until I watched your video and then I watched Daniel's video on SpACE being like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in this," that I was like, "Wait, we're doing a live stream."
Sarah was like, "It just hit me." But on your channel, you do a lot of you have some videos of your sets and stuff that you've done for asexual comedy. So that's kind of what we're talking to you about today, is just you do comedy sets that are focused on asexuality, which is very interesting, and it seems like it could be very nerve-wracking to go into the public and just do that.
No, yeah, exactly. It's interesting. I guess my coming out story was almost in tandem with me starting comedy, because of course when I first came out, it was at uni, and I felt so kind of liberated. And I think like many people, I felt so passionate and confident the first time in my life. I was so liberated by discovering who I was. So I kind of went out of my way and I made a whole I made a big awareness campaign at my university, and it was all really big and fancy and all that. And of course, like everyone at my university was all very welcoming and accepting, and I managed to find a nice, lovely asexual community. But then, of course, I left uni. I kind of left that bubble of that circle of kind of very socially aware people and queer people, and I went to the real world. And I kind of realized that, now whenever I try and talk about asexual awareness to general public, in pubs and that, most people honestly were very averse to it. They weren't really responding. They were quite aggressive actually, and quite antagonistic, and thought it was very kind of silly and stupid and weird. And I thought, that's a shame. What's going wrong here? And then I kind of started doing comedy around the same time, because I thought, well, I feel so liberated and confident in coming out. Let's try something else I've always wanted to do. And I started, talking about asexuality in my comedy, because I thought, well, no one else is doing it. And I think in comedy, you should talk about what you know best. And I know something seemed to click. People seem to quite understand. They were responding to it, and not just other people that were like me. People who people who were complete opposites of me. They understood the jokes. They understood what I was talking about. And after many gigs, I'd have people come up to me and say, "Hey, I've never heard of asexuality before, but the way you talk about it, that's really interesting." And I kind of thought this is interesting, because clearly doing it the usual way, they weren't a fan of it, but doing it this way, it clicked somehow. And I kind of realized then that I think sometimes to get across important messages for social awareness and awareness of different orientations and minorities, it's interesting to experiment with different, more accessible forms of awareness, to try and use accessible art forms to kind of get people on board. And that's what I've kind of tried to do, really. And my kind of mission has been to kind of use comedy as a platform to spread awareness and understanding of the sexuality to people who otherwise wouldn't know about it or usually wouldn't care about it. But I'm doing it through a form that they understand and they kind of resonates with them more. So that's what I've tried to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely kind of a lower stakes way of doing it, of just being like, I'm just going to stand up here and tell some funny jokes. You can just sit there, like, I'll handle it. And it's not like so serious of a conversation of like sitting down and being like, this is my sexuality. You need to understand it right now. Comedy is a lot more just like, we're all just having fun. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, comedy is a very powerful tool. People don't quite realize. Because comedy is a dialogue. It's a dialogue between you, the performer, and the audience. And a joke is kind of like a puzzle in a way, because you're giving them the information, and then the audience has to kind of figure out where the joke is. They find a solution. And by laughing, they're like agreeing with you, saying, yes, I agree. I understood the joke. Well done. Ha ha ha. And then that's when you immediately get in a very interesting position where if you then implant like an opinion or a fact in a joke, when they're laughing, they're not just laughing at the joke, they're laughing that they're agreeing with what you've said. They're saying, yes, I agree. And that's why comedy is very, very powerful and can be used for good and evil, because you can use it to enforce or debunk stereotypes. Because by laughing at a joke, the audience is basically saying, yes, we agree that stereotype is stupid and silly. Or they can say, yes, we agree that stereotype is true and X people are so-and-so. So that's why I think comedy is a really powerful tool to kind of debunk the kind of the mysteries and the misassumptions there are about asexuality. Like for instance, people always say to me, how do you know you're asexual? Maybe you haven't met the right person yet. And I say to them, well, maybe you're a murderer. And they say, well, no, I'm not. I say, well, maybe you haven't met the right person yet, have you?
Haven't tried.
Yeah. How do you know? You haven't tried it,
Maybe by the end of this conversation, you'll want to murder me. Who knows?
Who knows? It's all to play for. We're all going mad in isolation. Anything's possible. But for years and years, people have been using, comedy as a way to debunk, misassumptions about, all sorts of orientations about, being black or being gay or being a woman or being all sorts. And no one's really doing that for ace people yet. So I thought, I'll give it a go. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, why not? And you're doing an amazing job, I think.
How
did you kind of get started in comedy and like actually doing live shows and stuff like that? It seems like such a an official thing to do, to go out and be like, okay, I'm not just gonna put videos on the internet. Not saying that that's not an official thing to do, but it's a whole different thing to physically be like, I'm gonna leave my house and be booked at this place and do this thing.
Yeah, I think the thing I've always really admired about live comedy and live entertainment is such a unique electricity you get when you're there in the room, and I think it really resonates with people a lot more to have that said live to them. And also, because you can interact with people much more freely and easily. You can actually talk to the audience members. You can talk to them. You get to respond. You can do back and forth, and that really gets people more involved. And it resonates with them easier that way. And I started out by filming first. I was filming a lot of comedy at local pubs, and there's a lot of great stuff. I also realized there's a lot of comedy going around that's very misogynistic and very transphobic and queerphobic, and that's no good. I was doing my degree on film and TV at the time. I did my dissertation on asexuality in television and in comedy. Oh, wow. And I was analyzing, Big Bang Theory and Community and IT Crowd, and looking at how I was basically coming to the idea that for years in comedy and TV, TV comedy always it reflects the dominant humor of the dominant culture at the time, which is still very heteronormative and very queerphobic. And back in the 80s and 90s, the sort of queer stereotype was a trope in TV comedy, and that was often fulfilled by the camp gay man stereotype. But of course, as gay rights progressed and became more normalized by the mid-noughties, everyone was like, "Oh, well, we can't make fun of the gays anymore. That's out of bounds now. What can we do instead?" And I think that's when we immediately saw the new queer stereotype had then evolved into what we now see as the autistic, asexual, socially incompetent nerd. And that's what we see the guys like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory and Moss and Abed and all that. And some of them better than others, but it's still persisting the idea that, the idea of someone who exhibits no interest in sex at all is also autistic, is also nerdy, is also socially inept, and is someone to be othered, to be laughed at. And that should be, ridiculed. And I thought, surely it's something I can do that should make a change to that. I'm going to go out and I'm going to prove to them that we're not all like that. And I looked into the mirror and went, oh no, an autistic, asexual, socially incompetent nerd. That is exactly what I am. I have a very stereotype I am trying to debunk. So that's been a bit hard.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes stereotypes are true. Like we talk about Sarah is not very good at emotions, which is a stereotype of arrow people. It's like sometimes it just happens.
It's not my arrow aceness. It's the fact that I am my father's daughter.
I guess the difference though when you're doing comedy yourself, especially when you're doing it live, is that because you have autonomy though, you have control then, because you're the one doing the jokes and you're the one that's even if you're playing a character that's deliberately being very oblivious, because you are still making up the jokes, so you yourself are aware of what you're saying and you have control over how they're laughing. They're not laughing at you, laughing with you. And I find usually, like in TV comedies, you laugh at like someone like Sheldon. You said like, oh, you should laugh at him because he's weird and autistic and strange and asexual and weird and strange and nerd, and you should laugh at him for being weird. But if you're someone yourself telling the joke on stage, instead you've directed the joke towards laughing at how weird sexualized culture is. The laugh isn't on me anymore. The joke is about how fucking weird, how weird the culture and society is, how everything is over-sexualized, how every single sentence in the English language can be an innuendo if you think about it hard enough.
Yeah, definitely. It like gives you power in the conversation too. You're like, I'm the one on stage right now. I'm the one telling you jokes. You have to listen to me for the next however many minutes. And I'm going to not only be funny and entertain you, but teach you something as well.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you ever find that, because a lot of comedy is like, if you're from the perspective of a marginalized group, you can kind of make jokes about yourself that people who aren't members of that group can't really make those jokes because it's from a different perspective. Do you ever find that like you'll say something and then people who aren't parts of the community like think it's okay to just like be saying whatever about asexuality, or is that something that you haven't really faced?
Oh, that's really interesting. I don't think, as far as I'm aware, I'm not sure. I think it's always a concern. I am always, as much as I'm doing everything I can to try and increase awareness and visibility, there's always a part of me that's always very socially conscious and always kind of scared that, is what I'm doing actually doing more harm than good? Am I giving people the wrong idea that that all asexual people are like what I am, but that they're not, because we're a very diverse group of people. I personally never, as far as I'm aware, I've not encountered anyone thinking that. I think because when you're watching a performer, you're aware that it is slightly characterized. Yeah, I am still talking about my own experiences. A lot of my jokes are based on real life experiences, but I am much more energized and eccentric and weird and surreal when I'm on stage. I think I hope people have the ability to kind of differentiate between the character on stage to me as a person, but hopefully the message still resonates. I mean, that's the important thing, because a lot of the jokes can still be taken out of context from the stage and still be applied to the way we talk about asexual people. At least that's what I hope. Again, it's not for me to say. I'm doing my best. I'm just saying silly puns and hoping people enjoy them. But I don't know. I guess I'll find out.
Well, I think it's going very well, and I think your stuff is very funny. And you also remind me a lot of someone I grew up with, so it's very weird to like. Feels like I'm reconnecting with like someone I like went to school with when I was younger, so it's very odd. But
well, this is awkward because I used to live in America when I was a kid. That's where I grew up. So maybe it was me. Who knows?
It was you.
Where did you grow up in the States?
Oh, I was my childhood was in Michigan and then in New Jersey.
Michigan.
Michigan.
Maybe it was me.
Maybe it was you.
Oh, guys, it's a massive revelation.
Live on screen, a reunion.
Amazing.
It's lovely.
So speaking of kind of making puns, do you have like a couple favorite puns that you can share with us to kind of wrap up?
I do have. I got my list. How long have I got?
I don't know.
Yeah, about 5 minutes.
All right.
5 minutes. I'll run through. Maybe you can give me like a signal when it's time to stop, or maybe you will stop.
Wrap it up.
You're under immense pressure to laugh now, because if you don't, my entire self-worth is completely gone. Like, there's a lot at stake here.
Well, luckily for you, when I'm nervous, I laugh. So
you laugh extra.
Just
I'll tell you some of my favorite. All right, I got so as an asexual, I always have to iron my bed sheets. I'm just not really into kinks.
Iron their bed sheets though. I love it.
People say to me, "How do you know you don't like sex if you've never tried it?" And I think that's fair enough. But then again, I've also never tried injecting disinfectant.
Oh no!
Oh, topical.
Timely.
With the time. Political comedian. See, I don't hate sex. I'm just indifferent. So if anything, I'm not asexual. I'm more shagnostic.
See, these are genuine laughs. You're getting genuine laughs out of me.
I've been doing for 4 years. I can recognize the forced laughter. I know it when I hear it.
He's a professional.
I love a good pun.
For me, sex is like kind of like keeping up with the Kardashians. I could watch it, but I probably won't.
Not fair.
Just because I'm asexual doesn't mean I'm lazy. Just that I cannot be fucked. I can never be a politician. Just can't fuck things up.
Oh, so true.
I know. I should probably do a trigger warning, shouldn't I? That there will be swearing involved. I hope I'm not upset anyone. It's too late now. Sorry.
If they listen to our podcast, they know we also earlier we had Rose from Fuck Yeah Asexual on. So
They've heard it.
Sorry, kids.
I'm really into people, just not really in people.
Oh no.
Oh.
That one doesn't really work as much for me, but for you, works great.
Oh,
brilliant. Well, I like my partners. How I like my tea. Warm, sweet, and no one in my trousers.
Honestly, great point. I don't want my tea anywhere near my pants.
I know, it's hot and scalding. I'm on that. Oh. Who wants that? I'm both, like I say, I'm both asexual and autistic. So you could say that I do not like big butts, and I definitely cannot lie.
Beautiful.
Things didn't really work out with my allosexual partner. Turns out she just wasn't my type. So the blood transfusion was a disaster.
Oh, no.
That's a dark one, that is. My partner would say to me, punish me, but naughty girl. Go on, punish me, but a naughty girl. So I sit her down and make her watch The Big Bang Theory. Oh my God. Thank God it's over. But I think young Sheldon's still a thing, isn't it? Why is that?
It is, yeah.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I've been watching the TV show Hollywood on Netflix. It has Jim Parsons in it, but he plays a very sexual character on that show.
What a twist for him.
It's wild.
I don't hate porn. I just think it gives you a very unhealthy expectation of how quickly a plumber will come to your house.
That's true.
It's true. I know. It's always. I personally, I've only ever watched porn to look at the wallpaper because they have quite good taste sometimes in fashion. It really annoys me when they leave the fridge door open. That really annoys me.
Yeah,
I know.
Like the coldness is gonna get all up in your house. It's a waste of energy.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know like how sex works, but I'm assuming no one wants to do it in the cold. Like so.
No, I feel like the cold would.
I can't imagine it would be good.
Also, I'm just trying to imagine now who's like the set dresser on pornos. Like, how do you end up with that job?
That is quite a niche job. You don't really grow up thinking about that, probably.
Yeah, like I wasn't a child being like, my dream job is to be a set dresser on a porno. I mean, for a lot of reasons, that is not my calling.
Not you, really.
But
that's only someone's fantasy out there. I mean, there are some odd people out there. Somewhere that's someone's dream job. I think it's a case like what clothes would look good in the porno. It's more like what clothes would be taken off easily.
Yeah,
that's the main requirement.
Yeah.
But the one thing I have learned is that having a penis is exactly like having a knife. If you stick it in a toaster, you're a fucking idiot.
I mean,
I learned the hard way. So
that's an excellent point.
The leap in that joke was not what I expected, but I loved it.
Yeah, I really didn't know what to expect there, but I was very pleased.
The pull back and reveal.
All I could think of when you said is like having a knife. All I could think of is the Vine where she's like
a knife.
Oh, so people were doing that for Pokemon, weren't they? With the new Pokemon game with Score Bunny having a knife. That's my very niche reference I've just done. By the way, I got my little pals here. I believe that they call makeup sex.
my God.
The props.
One thing a very earliest trick I learned in comedy is that it doesn't matter how you can do a really, really terrible pun, but as long as you do a prop, people will laugh anyway because they appreciate the efforts you've gone through to financially invest in the prop and to bring it to you with you on stage. So it's more out of pity than anything, but I'll take it.
I love it so much.
I'm struggling to find a good joke to end on, but that's the thing with asexuals. We're terrible at finishing things. But you know what? We're all ace here. We're all ace people here. So then again, it's more fitting, isn't it, to end on an anticlimax?
Yes.
Thank you. I can sense the disappointment amongst the internet. I'll spare them anymore.
Honestly, based on the chat, the comments, people are loving it.
I think they love it.
Oh, I'm not reading the comments. Oh god, I'm scared to look.
No, everyone's being very nice. For people who want to see more of your,
Wait, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Huh?
There's already an A's porno.
Hey, nice.
Sorry, I just had to share that one.
Very good. Very good.
For people who want to see more of your beautiful comedy after you leave us.
Little cheeky plug.
This is my dream. I like to make really bad puns with all of my friends and they get mad at me. So this is like the best moment of my life.
I have too much time on my hands. That's the real sad reality of it all.
Don't we all?
Especially now. Shall I do cheeky plugs?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, if you want to follow what I do, I'm trying to do more YouTube stuff. I'm very slow at it. I'm still starting off, but I'm trying to do more silly vlogs and sketches and stuff. And you can find me as Elliot Simpson on YouTube. But otherwise, you can always find me as Sockface Simpson on all the other social medias, on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all that. Other than that, I'm always going to be carrying on doing my comedy and sets around Scotland. But I'm also, when we're allowed out again, I'm going to be continuing to tour my solo show, which is called Asexy and I Know It. Which is the whole solo show, whole hour show, all about asexuality and trying to teach people about it. And also, I'm so annoyed the lockdown happened because I was actually right in the middle of making a music video. I've recorded my own parody of the song Sexy and I Know It, but it's Asexy and I Know It. I've got the song already. I was halfway through filming the video, but then this happened. But it will be released one day, and it's going to be very special.
Oh, that will be so amazing. And I hope that one day we can see you live, and it will be very amazing.
I would love that.
Let's go travel to Scotland, Sarah. Let's just go.
I love Scotland.
You guys should come to the Fringe. The Fringe is awesome.
We're doing it. As soon as this is over, we're just going.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Elliot.
Yes. Thank you so much, Elliot.
It's been a pleasure.
Everyone, follow Elliot.
Follow Elliot.
Online. Don't follow me home.
Not right now. Not safe.
Yeah.
Not safe.
At least wear a mask. But not like a creepy mask, like a, you know. All right. Thank you, Elliot. Bye. Hey, Kayla, you want to read some donations before we go to our next guest? I saw that Daniel, Slice of Ace, rebelled against the system by donating $4.21.
Okay, well now you're going
Daniel, what do you have to say for yourself?
Can't just bring me back. I shouldn't have stayed here. That was my own fault.
Sarah, what if he was doing something?
I could see what he was doing.
I'm just watching and occasionally texting my boyfriend.
Okay, bye, Daniel.
Bye.
Thank you for donating.
Sarah, you can't just bother Daniel this way. Okay.
I can see the videos of the people who are still here. Like, I can see what they're doing.
You're a stalker. Okay. Anyway, we have Vic. We have Campbell, who donated again and said, nice, 420. Sarah, your sister, donated 420. I don't understand the meaning of this, but I support the Who. Secret Lady Spider, 420, nice, also high. Nice. Someone named Nice donated 420, nice. Keith McBlain in the membrane.
McBlain in the membrane.
Donated $42.00 and said nice.
Nice.
Anonymous donated $6.90 and said nice. Not exactly on brand.
A little bit off brand, but I accept.
I love it. Muriel donated $20. Chippy donated 400. Oh God, no. $4.20 and said nice. Music Maniac 94, $4.20 and said nice. Kristen donated $20. Daniel did rebel against the system. Livy posted, oh my God, who am I? Donated $5. Keep up the great work. Sincerely, the ace who plays bass. I love it.
No, that wasn't Livy.
It was. Oh no. Oh no.
Livy says thank you both for everything you do for the community. Bless your soul, Livy.
Yes, Charles Scheid, who donated, also said keep up the good work. Sincerely, the ace who plays bass. I apologize. Cass donated $4.20. Nice. Also, their crochet page on Instagram is Cass, KASS_crochet, but crochet with a K. Go follow that if you want to get into it during this quarantine time. Laura G donated, congrats on the successful event on behalf of the teams at Aces and Arrows and TAAAP. I need to look that up. I don't know that acronym. I'm sorry. But I love you, and I probably do know who you are, but I don't recognize the acronym. I'm sorry. I love you. KBC donated $5. Hi from Edinburgh, Scotland. Thanks for doing this. You're welcome. Anonymous donated $2. Keep up the great work. We will. Morgan, you're welcome. Jules, also heart back to you. Thank you for donating. We're up to
the Arrow and Ace Advocacy Project, or the Ace and Arrow Advocacy Project is what TAP is.
Thanks. More people just donated. Draconic Dervish. Thank you. And Anonymous. Thank you.
Wonderful.
We're almost to.
We're very
close to our goal, which we're just gonna make higher once we hit it. Sorry, but
true. Boneless Noodles. If you don't want your parents to see you made a donation to an asexual live stream, that's okay.
It is.
Right. You don't have to out yourself for $4.20.
It's true.
All right, we're running a little behind, so let's get back in.
Who has everything to do right now?
Yeah, our next guest is from our sister podcast, if I may say so myself. AOK's one and only Courtney Lang.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Oh my God, I'm so excited. My heart's beating so fast.
I'm sweating a lot and I have to pee. There's a lot going on.
A lot happening.
Before we dive into our fun activity that we have planned, someone's car alarm is going off. Tell us a little bit about AOK.
Okay. AOK is a podcast. It's a weekly interview podcast all about people on the aromantic and asexual spectrums. I only interview people on the aromantic and asexual spectrums. And we have a different guest every week. They're always super different from each other. If I've learned anything from doing the podcast, though, it's that no matter how different we are, we always have like something huge in common.
That's so awesome. We would never talk to other people. I feel like we're a little bit like our counterpart in you is all about talking to other people.
I listened to your most recent episode with the fantasy author. I forget what her name was.
Melissa Caruso.
Yes, and I was like, as a writer who was also like A-spec, I'm like, wow, I relate to you. This is a moment we're having, me and you.
Yes, she was such a good guest. She had such good stories, and it's always really nice to hear from someone who's older than me personally and who's been through all these life experiences I haven't had, and it's just so affirming, and she was great.
Yeah. Wonderful. All right. Well, let's dive into we're doing some trivia.
Yes. Okay. So I figured because we had so many Q&As, I thought maybe we'd shake things up. Yeah. Just so everybody knows, if you don't know already, we're going to do some sex trivia.
It's not crazy. It's not explicit sex trivia.
But no, I think, I think my most explicit question is question number 1. So let's just
all be fine.
Just go for it. Are you ready? Are we gonna have like like, okay, so how are we gonna do this? Am I gonna go and then you go? And then...
let's do every other. Kayla, get off the dock so I can unbold all of my answers.
Yeah, I don't know. Sarah came up with questions, so I don't know the secrets. Also, people should also, in the comments, also try to answer, because I think that'd be fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready for the first one?
Yes.
I'm so scared.
Okay. How many calories does a teaspoon of semen have?
How big is a teaspoon?
I don't know.
It's
I
like
don't think.
It's the smaller one.
So
It's the smaller one.
I'm going to say 5.
I'm going to say too many.
Oh,
Kayla, you were correct.
yes.
Yep. 5 calories. Technically 5 to 7. So if you're on a diet, it works.
I mean, I guess if you're trying to like bulk up,
Ask your partner for their particular semen.
yeah, okay, just go to your partner. Daniel, you have a partner? Everyone ask their partner.
Everyone has one of those nutrition labels on their back. Just look for that.
Everyone has this little tattoo they were born with.
All right. Sarah,
All
your
right.
turn.
Okay. This is related. How fast do sperm swim?
In like miles per hour?
Yeah, are we talking miles per hour? Or are we talking
Well,
like...
Yes. A similar unit to that. I guess it depends on how fast or slow you think they swim.
Kilometers? I'm American. I don't know what a kilometer...
It's American. It's an American.
I'm going to go, I think, 5 inches an hour?
Okay,
no, that can't be right. Wait, that can't be right.
Courtney, what do you think?
Oh gosh, can I go like Usain Bolt on this?
Do it.
I'm gonna say 10 feet a second.
That's so fast. It is, according to the internet. Now, I don't know how trustworthy the internet is, but the internet says it's only 1/8 of an inch per hour.
Oh
my gosh,
Very slow. They're so slow.
They're trying so hard.
Ain't shit, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's literally nothing. All right.
All right, with the next one.
I'm shocked. I was ready to be blown away. Which spider? So I technically have 2. So 2 that go together.
Okay.
Which spider eats their mate after sex?
The hungry kind?
So, isn't there a black widow?
Kayla, you're on fire. 2 in a row.
I mean, was I wrong? Are they not hungry?
I mean,
I don't know. This question might actually answer your question, Sarah. How many mates can a black widow eat in a day?
In a day?
7.
So busy.
7. They're hungry.
Okay, Sarah says 7.
12.
Kayla, you say 12?
Yes.
Okay.
Like 50.
20.
Okay. That's still a lot. That's a lot of sex to be happy.
But that's also a lot of food.
I mean, I'm okay with the cannibalism. The sex is what really concerned me.
But like,
all right, someone record that.
It's eating like 20 things. It's like a human eating 20 humans. Like that's something your size. Now it's you.
I don't know, ma'am. Okay, I'm just gonna go on to the next one. How many dates, according to the internet, does the average couple go on before they become exclusive?
Oh,
the average?
Average?
People are so complicated and like.
Oh, if I were an average person,
what would I'm gonna say?
If I were an average person,
6.
I'm gonna say 3.
Kayla's on fire. It's 6.
What the heck, Kayla?
Sack spurt.
Dang. All right, apparently. Let's see. According to Pornhub, which U.S. state is the least kinky?
Utah.
Rhode Island.
California.
What?
Yeah.
There's like the broadest population?
Right. Want to know what the most kinky is?
Tell me.
Wyoming, Alaska, and Vermont.
Really?
Nothing to do there. No disrespect to those states.
Isn't California like
very beautiful.
where they shoot porn?
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. That's according to Pornhub. California is the least kinky.
All right.
Well, Sarah, you're in the right place then.
Nice. What percentage of Americans have had sex on a first date before?
62. No, 69.
Sorry, I'm gonna say 40%.
29%.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. Wow, apparently we really misjudged.
We thought everyone was just doing it all the time.
Okay. What is the most successful X-rated movie in history?
Oh, I wrote down an answer for this. I wrote down Sex 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, good guess.
Maybe even Sex 3, Tokyo Drift.
I don't even know any X-rated movies. What's an X-rated movie that I know?
Sex 3, Tokyo Drift.
Titanic XXX. That's my...
It's the car scene in Titanic.
It's the car scene in Titanic. I have no idea.
It's called Deep Throat.
Oh my God, someone guessed it. I just saw someone guess that.
FYI, my sister just guessed the most popular X-rated movie as the B movie. You're wrong.
Good point though. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, you like jazz? Okay, next question. The first on-screen same-sex kiss happened in what year?
What if I think I know the show it's from?
Then tell me.
I think it's from Will and Grace.
Oh.
That might not.
Courtney, what do you think?
I think it's from one of those shows where they were sleeping in different beds at the time. The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Kayla, you are so wildly wrong. It's
really?
Funny.
Was it Ellen? It was Ellen's show.
It was in the movie Manslaughter.
What?
Which is a Cecil DeMille movie from 1922.
Whoa.
Wow.
2 women kissed each other in a romantic context.
What? In 22?
Mm-hmm. It was silent films, baby.
A silent kiss. That's wild.
All kisses should be silent. I don't want to hear your kisses.
Oh, okay.
Oh, kiss noises are the worst. We can all agree. Okay. Why were pubic wigs worn in Victoria?
Did she say pubic wigs? Where'd she go? Is she frozen?
Yeah, no, she's frozen.
Courtney, come back. I need to learn about pubic wigs. That's so bizarre.
Oh no. I'm afraid to find out. Courtney, come back.
Baby, come back.
Let me.
Sarah, fix.
I'm gonna remove her and see if that helps. Didn't help.
Turn her off and turn her back on.
Yeah, it's basically what I did. Oh no.
Courtney, no.
Courtney.
That we must learn about the pubic wig.
Oh no, Courtney. Well, F's in the chat for Courtney. Thank you, Owl Speed.
Oh my God.
Okay. We are. Oh yeah, she's fully gone.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Do you want to read some donations in the meantime? See if she comes back. If not, we can probably move on because we are running kind of behind.
It's fine, but yes, we will see. Hopefully, she comes back. Let's see. Anonymous 420, nice. Star 422, nice? Question mark. Still,
I'm so glad this is working. The Alex Boniello method works.
Oh my God. Anonymous says best wishes. Thank you. I don't know how to say ECIN $20.04.
So specific.
Just
backwards. Oh, we're so close.
And Daphne, who created a PayPal just so they could donate. Thank you,
Daphne.
And love from the Netherlands. Thank you. We are so close to our goal.
We're so close.
Did Courtney message us or anything?
No.
Courtney.
Rip to Courtney. Well, if Courtney's able to come back again later,
we will.
We'll take her back. We'll keep doing our trivia. We have a lot more trivia.
True.
I will say though, Sarah, I need more information on what I just said. What did I say? I don't remember.
Was it the cannibalism thing?
Maybe. In the meantime, though, shall we welcome our next guest?
I suppose we shall.
Okay. Who is it?
Oh, sorry. I guess I should say.
Yeah.
It is the very exciting and very amazing activist, Yasmin Benoit.
Hi.
Hello.
I actually got some of those answers right. I was watching it.
Oh my God. I'm so proud. See, sometimes asexuals know what sex is. Sometimes we get it.
Oh, guess who literally just came back?
Is it Court? Yes, we should play. It's all for together.
Oh no! So I have a legitimate reason. I swear there's this really fast squirrel that lives in my yard, and sometimes it runs across the internet cable and it gets lost. So
that it sounds like a made-up excuse, but because it sounds so made up, I believe it.
I'm like really upset. I could see it run past my window as it went out. So
well, then do we want to just have Yasmin participate in our trivia?
I think we should.
I did. I got one right. I got the porn one right. I was like, was it Deep Throat?
Oh my God.
In the movie about it. So I was like, I know this one.
Yes, let's all do trivia together.
All right.
Awesome. Okay, where did I leave off?
Pubic wig.
Pubic wig.
Oh. What a good cliffhanger. All right.
Wait, so what was the question?
Okay, so the question is, why were pubic wigs worn in Victorian times?
For fun.
Warmth, maybe?
Oh, warmth. Maybe
they don't have central heating back then, maybe?
Maybe they wanted to look like plumper.
Plump.
Okay, these are all very interesting guesses. It's to combat lice.
Wouldn't that increase?
Yeah, isn't that?
Rip to those lice. Andrew Hall got it right.
Oh, yep, good job.
I don't
understand
Sarah. How would prevent lice.
Huh, wow. All right. Okay. On July 16th, 1439, King Henry VI banned kissing in England. Why?
Because it's sticky.
Some kind of religious inappropriate law or something about inappropriate to do.
Was this the year of the plague?
It was the year of the plague.
Oh, yeah.
The plague. Okay. Very timely.
So we should ban kissing right now, is what I'm hearing, is no more kissing.
This isn't the correct answer. But
oh my God, everyone's getting it right. Okay.
Amazing. All right, what's the next one?
Let's see. How often does Spock from Star Trek need to have sex?
I accidentally saw the answer to this when I was researching, but it was so interesting, I wanted to discuss it anyway.
Yeah.
Is it once a year?
I didn't even know he needed to.
Yeah, is it like, why is it?
What episode was this?
I don't understand. Why is it a need?
I don't know. Yasmin, do you have a guess?
How often did he need to? Once every, I don't know, 2 years? How long do Vulcans live? Half Vulcans, I don't even know.
Don't ask me. Okay, the answer is once every 7 years.
A lot of people in the chat got it right.
Oh my God,
okay.
Yeah. How do they
so
know
Vulcans, for clarification, Vulcans can have sex more than that if they want to. But they have to have it once every 7 years.
Will they die?
Will they like explode?
It's both, maybe.
Okay. No. All right. The next question, Kayla, you'll hate it, which is why I included it.
Good.
What type of non-human primate kisses with tongue?
I hate when you are watching TV and you can see the tongue. People go in tongue first for kids. It's like a literal worst favorite thing.
Yeah.
Favorite thing in the world.
Okay, going off that, there's a scene in Lord of the Rings, the third one, Return of the King, where Aragorn and Arwen get reunited at the end, and his tongue comes out so far.
I actually know what you mean. I love Lord of the Rings, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Wait, so it's non-primate?
No, what is the primate that is not a human?
Oh, I was gonna guess chameleon, but never mind.
It is. Sorry, what type of primate?
Orangutan.
I was gonna guess that. I also guess orangutan.
We do human stuff sometimes.
Can I say like silverback ape?
You can, but it would be wrong. It is the bonobo.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
a lot of types of like chimps and stuff open mouth kiss, but they don't use their tongues.
No.
So what is their tongue doing? I don't understand. They keep their tongue back, but they open their mouth.
Open mouth kiss. Is it just like they just put? Do they just like put their mouths together and then just sit there? Like just.
I imagine it's how humans do it. I wouldn't know.
Oh, I guess I'm asking a lot of people.
Do they not teeth or something? It's sort of a teeth thing.
Gross.
Okay.
All right. When was the vibrator invented?
Ooh.
I went to a Victorian sex museum and they had a lot of stuff from back then.
Did they have a pubic wig?
I didn't see that, but I saw some pretty odd things that I could see inspired the toys of today. But it would need electricity, wouldn't it? So that's something to make it vibrate. When was electricity a thing?
I'm gonna say 1911.
I was gonna go way later than that.
I'm gonna go for like 30s, 20s, 30s.
I'm gonna say 37.
What 37?
19.
0037. No.
The year of our Lord.
It was invented in the 1880s.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So electricity is older than a lot of us thought, apparently.
I guess I just don't know at all.
I knew it might be electric, but I thought, when would they want to use that limited like supply and that expense to make a vibrator? Apparently, back then,
rich people.
I actually know the reason. Hysteria was like a medical thing.
Yeah, they thought they could cure women with sex.
Right.
With orgasms to
yeah. Bummer, huh?
Mm-hmm. I'm actually gonna skip over one of my questions and come back to it because I have one that's related to this. What is the earliest record of human use of dildos?
Oh, way back. I know it's way back, like cavemen.
Like 2.
I'm gonna say like 3600 AD. BC.
Specific. I don't even know what year the cavemen were, but I know it was like that time period.
I think the second year ever.
The second year ever?
Ever. Yeah.
Okay. It was in the Upper Paleolithic period, which is 30,000 years ago. Dildos were invented before the wheel.
They could
that says so much about people, I think.
The amount of
we can't move our food around, but
the amount of yeast
something else
that would come from that, of just like dirty, unsanitary. Everyone was having yeast infections.
They didn't even have language, but they were like, you know what though?
You can stick this thing in you.
It's rotten. God. Let's try something.
All right. What is the average maximum amount of time people stay in love?
Stay in love.
Love is fake.
8 years, because then you have the 7-year itch after 7, and then by 8 you just want to kill each other. So I'm gonna guess 8.
11.
20?
11 what? 20 what?
Years.
20 minutes.
11 seconds.
18 months.
Wow.
Oh.
And then
is that scientifically like proven?
This is average. So think of all the relationships that don't work.
I guess.
But do you really feel like you're in love with? I wouldn't know. Okay.
I don't know either. I wouldn't know.
Like weirdly short. It would take you that long to plan the wedding before you even get there. You hate each other.
True.
That doesn't sound long enough to me.
Okay. This question I personally hate with a burning passion. How many boners does the average person with a penis get per day?
I feel like I know this one.
Doesn't that like depend on like a range of things?
Probably.
I mean,
This is just what
average.
the internet told me.
Can I say
random boners unprompted?
12.
I would hope no more than 2 for their own like psychological sanity. It would get on your nerves, wouldn't it?
I think
You're in the
7.
supermarket.
I'm saying 7.
According to a very reliable site, which I don't even remember what it was, 11 per day and 9 per night.
I was one
Right?
off.
I'm not sure. I need to ask some of my guy friends and be like, is that true? Because we hang out and I haven't seen anything. Like that sounds
I hope
impressive.
to God that's not true.
Elliot makes an incredible point. It depends on if they see a full moon.
That's a very good point.
All right, I'm almost done. What bodily fluid was historically used as an ingredient in perfume and love potions?
Pee.
Yes, P.
I'll go for P then.
You're all sick. It's sweat.
No, that's not better. That's not better.
I mean, it's still stinky.
That smells more than pee if you're hydrated. That smells
You're
more.
all sick.
That's not good.
I was just thinking of the musical Six, where they talk about how they used to like pee on their hair to make it look blonder.
What?
Yeah, they would put pee on their hair.
That's a big no for me.
I mean, pee is used in like medicines and stuff, but why would you put sweat on to smell less sweaty?
Pheromones?
I don't think it's to smell like less sweaty. Yeah, I think it's like to
a
attract.
pheromone thing.
Gross.
Or smelling like someone else's sweat.
I mean, people used to smell really bad.
You just be layering your own sweat with someone else's sweat. That sounds really
Oh God. All right. When did the word virgin enter the English language?
Ugh.
The Greeks?
Ooh, that's a good
Well, I mean, it was in the Bible, so a while back. When was Jesus a thing?
Was he a thing during the Greeks?
He was, I
Wasn't
think,
it Romans that tried to kill it? Wait, who tried to kill
no,
it?
I think you're right.
I'm talking English language specifically.
Oh.
Well, it was translated, so now I'm trying to work out.
When was English invented?
I think the 1500s.
That's a good
I
guess.
feel like it might have been before that.
I don't know.
I'm going to say 1800s. No, that's not right.
Oh, when was Jesus a thing? I don't know, 1000 and 1068 BC, AD, BC.
It was the 9th century.
I don't know what that means.
I was close.
800. Year 800.
Oh, God.
I was close. I said 1000.
But
Definitely
initially, it only applied to women because only women can be virgins.
Of course.
To be honest, I feel like that was like the rule until about like 40 years ago. I feel like even nowadays people aren't that quick to like use virginity or the concept of virginity for guys.
Yeah. All right, I have one more. Did I
So
say
do
that
I.
last time? Okay. I have a couple to pick from, but I'm gonna do this. Which animal sometimes exchanges pebbles for sex?
Oh, that's cute.
I think
Yeah,
it's
isn't it?
a type of
Tortoise.
a bird.
Okay, we got
And I
tortoise,
don't
we
know
got
if
bird.
animal is big enough to carry pebbles and kind of maybe like a badger or something, like a beaver maybe. Or like a little something that hangs out near water to get the pebbles because they need to come from near water, right? Maybe like
It's
a beaver.
Is that prostitution?
Technically, but I feel like the motive, like the way they do it, there's
It's
no
a gift.
there's
It's
no
dating.
agreement
Goods and
though.
services.
Like I
It's
read an
just like
article.
It's
I
just
read an
like
article
dinner
on
or
it.
meal before. It's
Yeah.
just a gift, right?
Well, it's a gift, but the guy doesn't know that the other penguin is taking it.
Oh, so it's a penguin.
Oh, it's a penguin! Surprise!
I knew it was an animal that lived near water. So
It's
okay,
true.
penguin.
Amazing. All right, my last one. The Aztecs believed what food had so much raw sexual power that they banned virgins from eating it?
Chocolate.
Oyster?
Wait, I was gonna say oyster because people say that's like an aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
It was, in fact, avocado.
Oh, why?
That is like the least sexual fruit of
Avocado
all time.
toast. What's that doing to millennials?
That is so unsexual.
Yeah.
Avocados, wow. They look
Yeah.
diseased in their natural state for a start, so I don't think that's like. And they've got the skin on. They look really gross, and then they're just green. So why?
Oh, avocados are cute.
But they do look funny. They do look weird.
Oh my God.
They're both being weird.
Yeah. All right. That's all I have for you.
Those were amazing.
Thank you.
That was very fun.
This was so fun.
Thank you.
It's like you crashed your quiz because this isn't even my section, is it?
Oh my God, of course. I'm just so excited to be like talking to you face to face. It's really exciting.
I just kind of crashed your part of this. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to be here.
Courtney, where can everyone find your amazing, amazing podcast?
Well, you can go direct to the source to www.aokpod.com. You can also find AOK on I just sounded very Minnesotan.
Midwest.
You can also find AOK on literally any podcasting app except SoundCloud. And then we're on Twitter at AOK Podcast. And you can email me at aokpod@gmail.com.
Yay. Go subscribe to our beautiful sister podcast.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me on. This was so much fun.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Now it's just you, Yasmin.
All the attention on Yasmin.
I have a problem. I really have to pee.
Go
Go do it.
Oh,
Me and
do your
Yasmin
thing.
will hold down the fort. Welcome, Yasmin.
Hi. It's kind of crashed Courtney's fit, but that's
It's
fine.
fun. Okay, so I think we wanted to do like a fun Q&A with the audience and stuff. So
Yeah.
I know some people have tweeted in questions,
Mhm.
but if anyone in the chat,
There's so many people here.
there's so many people here. So yeah, if anyone wants to chat with Yasmin or us, but mostly Yasmin,
Now's your chance, guys.
now's your chance.
Well, there were some good questions over on Twitter. I saw some good ones.
Yeah, so let me see if I can pull some up. We can start there. If I can find them ever again. Twitter's there right now. Here's everyone. Let's see. Oh, here's some questions. This will stay up as a video, Shay. This will stay up on our YouTube forever. You can watch it over and over and over again. Let's see. Let's see.
I'm just like checking out what people are saying. Can you come to the Netherlands? If I wasn't on lockdown, I'd be in a lot of places right now. But I'd love to come to the Netherlands. I have been there before, and it was lovely. That's when I went to the Victorian Sex Museum, was in the Netherlands.
That sounds so nice.
No better place to find weird sex museums than in where was I? Amsterdam.
Oh yeah, it does seem like the place where you'd find it.
It was.
Let's see. I think Ray.
Ring. You mean like this?
Oh, cute.
It wasn't actually meant to be an ace ring, but then people were like, "Oh my gosh, you're wearing an ace ring," and I was like, "Yeah, that was totally intentional.
That's exactly
I wasn't just wearing a black ring."
It's fine.
Come to Vegas Pride. I would freaking literally tell the organizers to bring me out there. I want to go to Vegas.
Vegas is a
I
very
would party so hard if I got to go to Vegas. Oh my god, that would be awesome. Oh my god, someone said, "What's your opinion on long Furbies?" I think they are hilarious that people still like Furbies and that people elongate them, and that was an idea.
Wait, people elongate Furbies?
Yeah, they make their bodies really long, and they're like soft. They're like these infinite creatures that kind of scary.
Oh
but
god, that's horrifying.
that's the thing.
I just looked it up and I hate it. Oh my god.
Long Furbies. I think they're hilarious as an invention.
Oh my god, that's so terrifying.
You can't unsee it now.
No. Welcome back, Sarah.
Thank you.
Hi.
I washed my hands for 20 seconons.
Oh, I'm so
Good.
Usually I have a bladder of steel, but I've been so nervous and drinking so much water.
I don't blame you.
lot going on.
Let's see. We're taking questions from the audience, Sarah.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, hey, Marshall.
There's so many
Which
comments.
question shall we go for? Where are you getting them from? The live one or from Twitter?
I'm looking at the live ones right now.
It's probably going to take a second for the live ones to kick in because there's a smidge of a delay.
Let's see. Are you a cat person? Moss Fox asked.
I'm more of a dog person. I find cats interesting and funny to watch on the internet, but I'm not sure how much they like me, so I don't think I'd get one. They tend to have mixed feelings towards me, get scratched a lot, find them hard to read.
It's fair. Let's see. Tori asked, how do you tune out online hate/aphobia?
To be honest, I pretty much encourage it every single Sunday, so stay tuned. I think, I mean, I'm kind of amused by it, so I'm not like, it doesn't really hurt my feelings. I feel like I just allow everyone else to use me as a case study. I feel like it's like a learning experience for every time people say this kind of thing doesn't happen, like nobody cares. I'm like, here, look at this. Here you go. It's so easy to like just bring out that in people. I don't even have to try nowadays. So yeah, rather than tuning out, I'm like, how can I use this in like a constructive way? Because it's gonna happen. So you might as well like, I don't know, try and use it as like a learning experience or like a point of reference or a resource or something. So yeah, I don't really tune it out. I'm just like trying to make the most of it in a weird way.
I mean, it makes sense. If it's gonna happen, you might as well like do your best to make the best of it, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's like when I've like spoken about it on Instagram and stuff, like a lot of people like, wow, I didn't know this kind of thing happened. And now that you're talking about it, like now I know more about like what asexual people go through. So you can kind of use it in a constructive way, I think.
Yeah.
Got a question for you. How do you confront allonormativeness in modeling?
Okay. That's a good question. I mean, it doesn't come up that often. I mean, usually it's very much like, here's an outfit, make it look good. Rather, I mean, unless I'm like doing a wedding shoot or something, which I haven't actually done before, but I wouldn't be against it. Or unless I'm doing a shoot with a guy, which I have done, and I just laugh in their face. It's very awkward. When they're like, gaze into his eyes, and I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where like, I don't know, you just kind of roll with it. But then afterwards, I'm like, okay, well, that was another interesting experience. Like, I can like voice my perspective on like how that was for me being aromantic and being asexual. But at the time, you know, you just kind of, you just go with it. Like if you're wearing an ugly shirt, it's like, it's ugly, but they don't need to know that. Just roll with it.
That's very true.
Very, very fair. What about asexuality do you think scares aphobes?
Oh my God. I think literally just that it's something different.
That they don't understand it.
Yeah, that's literally it. Because I've always felt like it is like the least complicated, least threatening thing in the world. Like, how can you be that mad at what someone isn't thinking or isn't doing? Like, it's not really like, how can you be mad at the absence of something? Like, that seems kind of weird, but people really are. And they get like very, very wound up. And even the people that start off by saying, I don't care about your sexuality, 3 days later, they're still commenting on my stuff, telling me that. And I'm like, you do care. You care a lot. You care more than I care. It's weird. So it's, I don't know. I do think it's literally just that it's something different. And I think that some people are scared of change and they're hearing about all the other letters and they're seeing progress in society and it makes them uncomfortable. I guess it's like that saying that like equality feels like oppression if you're used to kind of being like at the top of the tier. So I feel like that's kind of what triggers it.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And like, to so many people, they grow up being told that sex is supposed to be like the most important part of your life, and then they feel like someone is taking that away from them by telling them that's not the case for everyone, and then they just like freak out, and it's like something that people told me for my whole life isn't true, and I don't know what to do with myself now.
Mm-hmm.
Kayla, do you want to take another one from Twitter?
From Twitter, yes. So I'm gonna go back and look at Twitter. let's see.
Jolo Music says they mad they can't fuck us.
I'm sure that has something to do with it.
I know I'm cute.
Let's see. Amygdala at Arrow Amygdala on Twitter asked, have you ever or are you currently identifying with any micro labels? And how would you explain the benefits of micro labels in the ASPAC community?
I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I know what all of the micro labels are. I'm going to pretend that I know what all of them are. Sometimes I hear someone, I'm like, let me Google that. So no, I don't really. I feel like aromantic and asexual sum it up pretty well. I don't think that I experience any other kind of attractions to a degree that I would feel like it's necessary for me personally to put another label on it. Maybe if you were asexual, aromantic, but then sensually attracted to people, then you might like include that as like an additional orientation, but I'm not. And platonically, whoever I vibe with is who I vibe with. There isn't really any kind of type or way that works for me. So personally, I don't really use any, but again, for some people, attractions other than sexual and romantic are very significant and actually do have an impact on their lives and how they interact with people. So it totally makes sense if you feel like that is significant for you to have additional labels just to make it clear or to meet other people like yourself. So I get it. I just don't personally need to do it.
Yeah, it can be like extremely nuanced for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just saw a text my sister sent me when we were doing trivia. Can I read it to you? My sister's
sorry.
My sister is reading a book about cadavers, and powdered penis was used as medicine for a variety of ailments.
No, thank you.
I don't like that.
You mean when you say powdered penis?
I don't know.
Like a blend, like a grinded up.
Is it like if you like shred cheese, like you just?
Is it kind of like when you have like matcha like tea? It's kind of like in a powdered form. You stir it up, put some milk in it.
I hate that.
You put some milk in it.
I mean,
I know that none of you can see it, but I can see Daniel watching, just going like this. He's still here.
Oh, Daniel.
So is Elliot. Hi, Elliot.
I have a question from Twitter from @phase_ace asks, says, you're widely regarded as the face of asexuality. Does that ever get overwhelming? Do you ever worry that you might say something and then people outside of the community are like, well, your husband does this, so it must be true of all asexual people?
Yeah, I mean, I worry about that for outside the community and also inside. I worry, like, it's very easy to get canceled nowadays. I don't want to get canceled, guys. Don't cancel me. So that's so I'm like, I watch what I say way more nowadays than I used to on social media like a few years ago, because now I'm like, okay, I got to conduct myself better if people are like looking to me for things. And similarly, yeah, I don't want to like I've never really said I am the example of asexuality. It's like I am a example of an asexual person. So I don't want people to be like, oh, well, she does this, so obviously this is what the whole community is like, or like to kind of judge everyone based on me. And I also wouldn't want anyone in the community to kind of see me and be like, oh, well, I have to do it like that because she does it like that, or she expresses herself like this, so maybe this is the only way you can like prove a point or be the right kind of asexual or something. I don't want anyone to get that that impression. But I feel like the main pressure is kind of more like feeling like I need to kind of keep a momentum going, because people are always like, oh, so what's going on now? Like, what's next? What's the next thing? And I'm like constantly like, okay, well, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. Like, I feel like I'm constantly like hustling, trying to make visibility things happen, because I feel like if I don't, then a lot of things just won't happen. So in that sense, I feel like there is more of a pressure to kind of keep the projects rolling and keep the momentum going and spend a lot of time bugging people about things. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of more of the pressure, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
now that we're in a time where everything's kind of weird and lots of projects are kind of being postponed and stuff, and I'm still trying to keep as busy as possible when I can't leave the house. So it's, you know.
Yeah, I think you tweeted this like a while, like at least a week ago, I don't know, but you were talking about how like it was disappointing that everything being canceled kind of stopped the momentum for a lot of like visibility things that were happening. Like a lot of projects you were working on or other people working on, or just like meetups had to be canceled. And so like obviously that's not like in the grand scheme of what's happening right now, not like the most terrible thing that's happening right now, but it's like really upsetting for people in the community. And I saw a lot of like interesting comments about how people within the asexual community have been affected, and how like, yeah, we were starting to like build kind of a momentum, and now there's no place in the news for anything but like what's happening right now.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I know that, like, I remember someone was like, hey, we're in a pandemic, like, shut up. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, everyone else can freaking complain about stuff. Why can't I?
I'm
like,
still in a pandemic. Like, if y'all
like,
want to be horny on me,
complain about stuff. Like,
if
they were disrupted. Let's talk about that.
If you want to be horny in Maine, I'm going to be an activist on Maine, okay?
Because, I mean, I know, like, I definitely felt like, because I remember all of, like, last year, when I was trying to do things, people would be like, oh, I'm sorry, we're talking about Brexit right now. We're only talking about Brexit. We're only commissioning things about Brexit. And I was like, okay, well, soon I've got the date on map. Brexit's going to go. And then and then they were like, oh, we're only talking about coronavirus right now. And I was like, okay, so now we'll have an infinite amount of time before all these things can happen. And meanwhile, the asexual community has been sitting around waiting for about 100 years. So it is frustrating. And I'm going to keep saying that. It is frustrating. But I think that's why I was trying to encourage people to, like, even though in the media and stuff, they're like, if it's not coronavirus related, we don't want to talk about it. It's like, well, we can still keep, like, doing our stuff, like you guys putting this together. Keep doing your podcast, keep doing your art, keep doing your magazines, like keep doing all that stuff, because at least for us in our own bubble, it's helpful to keep producing at. And then every time we do something, there are people outside of our community that will hear about it. And then maybe that'll make a difference somewhere, even if we can't do all the stuff we might have been doing. And I know there was a lot of stuff that could be happening right now that isn't, unfortunately.
I think there's a lot of like parallels to like people who like gatekeep the community, where it's like you don't experience enough oppression, where it's like it's that same thing just applied to like life, where it's like, well, coronavirus, like being asexual isn't killing as many people as coronavirus is. Sorry, there's sirens. So therefore, it's less important and we won't talk about it. It's like, no, we can still talk about all these things. Like, it's all still valid concerns and valid things that need to be changed. And I get that right now that the focus is coronavirus, but like, people need a break from coronavirus sometimes.
People do. And it's like, if you guys can keep writing articles like every day about, oh, I'm so horny and I'm stuck indoors and my boyfriend's over here, blah, blah, blah. Every day there's an article about, oh, I can't see my boyfriend, can't, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, then you can talk about all the people having this kind of experience. Like, there are, a cat's in the back.
My cat did wake up. Both Yasmin and I were like...
But it's like people are talking about things like within the kind of coronavirus like situation. It's just they're just not doing it like relating to asexuality. Then it's still like, oh, sorry, we can't talk about that yet. It's like, well, you can talk about all this other stuff and how it's impacting, I don't know, loads of people are buying sex toys right now because they're stuck indoors. If you can talk about that aspect of sexuality, why can't we talk about like this aspect of sexuality right now? Is my point.
Yeah, and I mean, like, as different as life is right now, life is still going on. It's not like because we're in this situation, everyone stopped identifying as asexual and struggling with any parts of that. Like, everything is still happening. It's just happening from inside.
Yeah, the media is still going. TV shows are still happening. So it's like, why can't we talk about it? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Kayla, do you want to take
a lot of people are saying, yes, we do effing need a break from coronavirus. Yes, we do.
Yes.
I'm looking at Twitter right now.
Tsunami says that they're just vibing as a member of the community right now, and I'd like to put that on blast. I said vibing.
That's a vibe.
It's true. We're all just vibing. All we can do is vibe right now.
Also, be ace on Maine.
Yes.
It's a great place to be ace.
Okay, I found a Twitter question. At DD Voss on Twitter asked, what are your favorite parts of the ASPAC communities, and what are some of the things that make you proud to be AeroAce?
I love how accepting it is as someone who BAC. I love how criminal we are. I feel like, I mean, I did not do that much like interacting with the community prior to the activism. Like I just I knew I was asexual and I just did my schoolwork and just that was kind of it. I didn't really use social media in that way. So like, but I always assumed that as a community, people wouldn't really get me that much. So to have everyone like totally do the opposite and be really supportive, I was like, I love how supportive and open-minded and accepting the community is. And I love how like resilient everyone is. And I love how creative and just diverse everyone is. And every time I've been to like asexual spaces where I get to meet people, the vibe is so chill. Everyone's getting along. Everyone's so different and so interesting. And it's just like, that's one of the things like, I feel like as a community, we've dealt with a kind of weird invisibility for a long time that a lot of other communities haven't had to deal with. And despite that, we've still managed to have like our own like culture and our own spaces and things that connect us. And usually you'd assume that if you're a community that is invisible to most of the world, then you'd be pretty disconnected. But I actually feel like it's kind of the opposite. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I like about our communities.
Yeah, it's kind of like all of the shitty stuff that happens on the outside kind of just brings everyone closer together who's actually within the community.
Yeah, even if you're like over different parts of the world, like we've made sure that we have enough forums and enough spaces and enough streams and everything to connect, even though we're like such small pockets of communities all over the place.
Yeah, definitely. Vibing so hard you trigger an earthquake. Very true. Let's see. Does anyone else in chat have some questions?
This isn't a question, but they heard that in America, every resident is given a kilogram of pure gold as compensation for the virus. I wish.
That would be beautiful and lovely.
But no one knows how much a kilogram is.
I was gonna say, like, how would you go to like the supermarket and be like, "I bring you gold"?
Yeah, I don't know what a kilogram actually is either. Oh no, I lost my questions on Twitter.
Rip.
Does anyone in the chat have some questions? It's not really a question, Sarah.
I know, I just wanted to put it back on blast.
Might be so hard to trigger an earthquake.
Thank you, Daniel. A kilogram is about 2.2 pounds.
Wow, Daniel's really coming in clutch. Let's see.
Vibing so hard you glitch through the floor and launch through the universe at a zillion kilometers per hour.
Oh, God.
That's like I don't know, it's like Kitty Pryde from X-Men, right? She just kind of like moves through surfaces and like vibrates her cells or something.
Someone just tweeted Ace on Maine.
Good. I do have a question for boneless noodles. If you're a noodle that's boneless, how do you hold a pitchfork?
If I'm a noodle?
This person is boneless noodles is saying that they're gonna bring the pitchforks.
Maybe they have a hand made of little noodles.
Okay, good point. Sorry, I'm getting off topic.
Oh, it just refreshed. Someone on Twitter, the Ace Mind.
Someone got my X-Men reference. Thank you.
The Ace Mind asked, "What do you think makes something good representation?"
I think it's good if they actually consult with asexual people before doing it. I think that's quite a foolproof way to make sure it's good. I always encourage people, if you're going to talk about asexuality, like actually talk to asexual people first. I think that helps. Same with aromanticism as well. I think it's good representation when they don't fall into stereotypes and when they don't treat it as something that needs to be cured by the end of the episode or by the end of the book or something. Like it isn't like a personality issue that needs to be overcome or also it doesn't need to be like tragedy porn either. It doesn't need to be like a whole woe is me thing. I've definitely known of representation to try and go in that angle, which is annoying. So yeah, just kind of stick to those things, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, avoiding stereotypes, especially. I know we talked about that earlier, but let's see. I have seen a couple people ask about your opinions on Verify Avon.
I totally think it should be verified, but I also know that Twitter isn't really, according to Twitter, they're not verifying anything right now. Maybe they have like a big backlog on verifications. I don't know. But AVEN totally needs to be verified. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, given how long it has existed. That's definitely pretty important. Just as just a way of kind of saying, yes, we see you, we get what you're doing, and we want people to know that this is like an official, legit resource. I think it'll just be helpful in that sense. I mean, for us, we still value AVEN the same, whether it has a blue tick or not. But I think that for people outside of the community, it would be nice to kind of see like it have that kind of stamp of approval, I think.
Yeah, especially because there's so much crazy hate stuff happening on Twitter. Just Twitter saying through verifying AVEN that like we support you and we see you. Just like it would be a small thing to do.
It would. So yeah, hopefully when Twitter starts doing that again, that'll actually happen. Hopefully.
Mhm.
I see Ray said Will from Stranger Things.
I was literally about to.
And yes, I agree. He is.
I haven't watched it. I can't comment.
Some people are saying that we should get Verify AVEN trending.
We should get what?
Verify AVEN trending.
I can certainly tweet it.
I don't know if that will make Twitter more likely to do it, but you can try.
Who knows?
I will tweet it now, and everyone can go retweet it if you'd like.
Autumn says that Will is gays. I'd buy that.
I'd also buy that.
Ah, that's not what I meant to do.
Oh no, my cat is. Oh, I have to go get my cat.
Oh no. Okay. Yes.
Oh. Feels like he's about to make a really important political broadcast about like the World War or something. Like
very important news coming out of my household where nothing has happened in days.
Question from Thunder: is there like a specific franchise where you would like to see some Arrow/Ace rep in?
God, I do not watch much TV. I don't watch anything.
All of them.
I'm trying to think, what shows do I watch for that? I mean, it wouldn't be appropriate in Family Guy. Probably for the best, they just don't do that. What do I even watch? I don't know. I mean, maybe in soaps. I watch soaps. I know that in Emmerdale, which is a popular British soap, I know they already did have an asexuality storyline. But to be honest, whenever I do see like any kind of ace or anything like alluding to it, before I'm happy, I'm nervous. So on one hand, it's like, yeah, like it would be lovely to see shows trying to like bring that in. But on the other hand, my anxiety would be sky high because I'd be watching it like, you better do this right. You better do this right. I'd be so stressed looking at every detail. Like, please do this right. Please don't it would probably stress me out more than anything. But
I don't know what this means, Elliot, but that's good.
I'm assuming it's a show.
Friday night. Oh, okay. Was it in a good way though? I heard that a show mentioned it, but it wasn't in a good way. So I don't know.
Autumn says that they want an Ace season of one of the Scam remakes. That would be great. Kayla, do you have any idea what Scam is?
No.
I know it very from Tumblr. It's like it was like a Scandinavian show where everyone was gay, and then they made a French version. And then I don't know. I've seen a lot of GIFs from it. I would love business on Scam.
Sure.
Someone said Coronation Shady Standards for the win. Yes, those are my shows. That is a lot of the TV I watch.
I know not everyone was gay. I'm exaggerating. Yes, Daniel.
I don't know what this is. Oh, I have to let my cat out.
There's a German version of it? Oh, I gotta watch that.
Bye, kitty.
She's finally decided she needs to leave the room. Let her out. She hung out the whole time, and now she's left.
How awesome would it be if we had an Ace Marvel hero? Great. It'd be very awesome. So this live stream has been running really long. But there is a reason for that. Me and Kayla are currently waiting on something. Oh man. That's good. That's good, Elliot.
Currently in Manchester, would that make sense? So
yeah, no, I would love just ACE representation, ARO representation, ASPEC representation, literally anywhere. Also, we met our goal a little while ago, so I just increased it.
True. Should we read some people that have recently donated?
That's a great idea.
Okay. Look, where did I leave off?
You left off at Daphne.
Daphne? Okay, so we have Colleen, who did it for $42. Nice. Beatrix, Anonymous, $2.40. Nice. Nice. FJF, Swantj. I'm sorry. And Anonymous. And yeah, we've set the goal. We've reset the goal many times because me and Sarah didn't.
We had no idea what
it at. But we passed $3,500, which is insane.
Awesome! Wow.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Also, I don't think we ever mentioned this, but we did have an anonymous donor donate $1,200,
which was insane.
Thank you to this anonymous person.
Yeah, it's like a stimulus check worth of money. So whoever you are,
it's 1 kilogram of gold worth of money.
Yeah, so that's insane. So thank you, but also thank you to anyone who donated any amount of money. And also, the fundraiser is still going to be up for like another week. So
yeah,
time.
Yeah, that's if it were ending right now, I probably wouldn't have upped it. But hey,
it's fine. We still have time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anywhere to be. It's fine.
Who is doing anything right now?
I know, right?
Good job, that person.
Anything
stonks. I agree.
Okay. Let's see.
With questions and comments.
Bop, 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 bop. We're still waiting on something. There's nothing any of you can do about it.
I'm curious as to like what this is. I have no idea.
It's a big secret.
It's a surprise. It was a surprise to us as well.
One day it will happen. One day. Let me go back to Twitter.
Rose, if you come back and show us your cats, we'll show them.
Yeah, Rose, I mean, we're just stalling here, so
we're really just stalling.
Feel free to come back. Let's see. How do you feel about people who say you can't be ace because you're a model?
I find that to be so weird. I find like that people even find it that perplexing. Weird, because it's kind of like, in what instance would you tell someone that you can't be doing that job because of your sexuality? Or that like I don't know, I've always found it really odd where people are like, oh, well, you wore this. So it's like, you're pretty much trying to dictate what someone wears, how someone stands, how someone interacts with people, what someone's allowed to promote, who they're allowed to work with based on their sexuality, which just makes absolutely no sense. And I feel like if it was being applied to any other sexuality, people would see that more. Like, you never hear people saying, oh, well, you're gay, so why do you do sports? Like, no one says that. But they do say, well, if you're asexual, and why do you have your picture taken? Which makes no sense. Like, why do you wear clothes for money? The entire logic of it, when you think about it, like, makes absolutely no sense. Like, you can't work in this industry if you don't feel sexual attraction. It's like, I'm not a porn star. And even
why,
then, like,
why do you wear clothes for money?
To fuck the camera. Like, hello.
It's like, what do you think happens on sets? Like, why would me being asexual, like, why would like that not make sense as a thing? Like, I've always found the perplexion around it quite funny. But I know I kind of play on it a little bit. I know people find it shocking, so I'm like, okay, well, I'll get your attention with that, and then I'll just drop in the actual facts, and then maybe you can learn something. But I don't know. I try to use the confusion to my advantage as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to like actually get people noticed, and then you can go about educating them.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like we're still in a place in our society that if you throw pretty clothes on it or you give something visual for people to look at, they'll pay a bit more attention rather than if it was just a paragraph of text. So you just kind of lure them in with something shiny, and then you go, okay, now here's the information.
Yeah, definitely.
Would anyone like to see a cat?
Yes.
Hello.
Oh,
That's a different cat than before.
This is a different cat. This is my 16-year-old boy. He is a big baby.
Oh.
He's very old. He was just sitting on my lap. And I was like, cat.
Cat.
Kayla's cat was here, then they could have bonded. They could have looked at each other.
This one was sleeping on the chair the whole time.
Oh my God, those two.
Precious.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, so cute.
Oh my God.
Oh, I like how it's staring at the other cat with a kind of neutral expression. As if to say, what is this?
Like, what are we doing? We're sleeping.
This is not a cat, but it is a person.
Hello. I have cats on my t-shirt, if that counts.
Oh my God.
You just keep bothering Daniel.
He said in
I
the chat if he could come in. Elliot, do you want in?
Let's just have a party with everyone.
Yeah.
We're just stalling.
And I still don't know what we're stalling for, so I'm very intrigued as to what's happening.
I do have a cat, but he's back in my childhood home, so unfortunately I have no cat to show.
I have no cat either. I used to have a cat, not anymore, sadly.
Oh,
This is like an ACE conference in Edinburgh reunion because, like, Elliot and Daniel, you were both there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Last year?
Yeah. I was at the registration desk the rest of the day.
Wow, it's
most ambitious crossover.
I did.
Hi, Marvel.
Wakers.
Oh no, the ace flag fell.
The flag was like, this is too much for me. It doesn't want to be there.
No.
Oh, we have another friend. Kayla, I'm going to take you out so we can say hello to them.
Okay. Being sacrificed.
I've brought my cat, and this time I've locked my keyboard so he can't kick me off the stream. He's come to say hello again.
Oh, yeah.
We're so sorry that Kayla had to leave for my cat.
Yeah, you can only have 6 out at a time, so it's Kayla's
Cats are objectively better than people, so.
I mean, facts, yes. I also have a giant sloth.
I like the giant sloth. I saw it earlier.
Oh, it's funny.
I've got a companion cube. That's about it, though.
I can leave the pillow.
Oh, look at the kitty.
I'm so glad we all.
There we go. Arthur is still over my laptop. So just know that.
That squirrel, like disconnecting the internet.
I'm still thinking about squirrel.
And what I love about that situation was that you could see it before or after it had done it.
Like
and
you knew it was going to happen.
Oh, it's going to do that. Oh, it's done it. Okay.
Like, oh, can I get this question in before? Nope.
I have a question that's actually for Kayla. I'm gonna kick someone. Who am I gonna kick? I'm gonna kick Yasmin just for fun.
Out of all the people he could have picked up.
Kayla, where did you get this shirt from?
Oh my God, I bought it so long ago.
Didn't you buy it on Etsy?
Oh yeah, I mean that's the most likely answer.
Just search the internet.
I don't even remember what your shirt says. What does it say?
It says Airways. Get out of my face.
Oh,
love it. I love it so much.
All right, Kayla's canceled again. We're bringing Yasmin back.
Hey.
You just link it.
I'm incredibly impressed at how many people are still watching this, given the fact that we are currently just stalling.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know.
I just sat watching it on YouTube earlier, just doing my colouring in. listen to everyone chat?
I don't want to say what we're waiting for in case
It doesn't
something goes
happen.
wrong. Yeah.
Yasmin, in the private chat, it says what we're waiting
Yeah,
for.
you'll see it in
Does
the
it?
private chat.
Oh my God,
Mine doesn't say.
The suspense is, I won't say it, but the suspense is kind of killing me.
Just scroll back a little bit.
I can't see anything further back.
Oh,
Oh,
maybe. Oh,
okay.
it might.
Okay.
But I have an idea.
Okay. That's cool.
Guess what it is.
I thought we were waiting for Aiden to be verified finally.
Yeah, no.
Yes, we're just going to do the stream for months.
Stream is going to go.
Yes. We won't leave.
Yeah, we are never going to sleep until that happens.
There's now a
Still
process.
work.
We're waiting
I'm
for
glad
the
to know what it
infinity.
is now. Now I can be at peace.
I can't see half my screen because my
That's
cat
my co-author.
Why don't like people who are watching? Why don't they like, I don't know, ask us like a big group thing or something? Because we're all here.
Except for Kayla, because fuck her. Oh, she literally left.
Kayla.
Wait, hold on. She straight up left.
Oh, savage.
That was me, to be honest. That was me when like I wasn't on. I was like, let me go.
Oh no, I'm wearing makeup. I can't itch my eye. What am I doing?
Oh my god, yeah, I itched my eye earlier and I had a little bit of glitter like in my eye and
There's a question.
I've literally just taken my makeup off when I decided to go through with my cat again.
Well, you look great. This is a question. How did you come out to friends and family before you went public?
I answered this one earlier, kind of.
Okay, who wants to go?
I mean, I can go. Hold on, I'm gonna bring Kayla in to help me with this one. Daniel, you're cut.
Oh. Weird, like musical chairs game we're doing now.
Yeah.
Let them
speak.
Baby. Oh, she's so angry. She's so angry.
The first person who knew was Kayla because I put it on Tumblr and she happened to see it.
Yes.
And so some of my friends knew, and then when I actually came out, like during Pride Month, how you can put those like frames that say like Pride on your Facebook profile picture. I just put one of those, and and my dad doesn't have he didn't have Facebook at that point. My mom was just like, oh cool, like she's being supportive, and my sister texted me. She goes, I don't think mom knows what that means. You want me to tell her? And I was like, please. But I was in Germany at the time. I was across the ocean from her.
I came out to my friend first, but I was literally sat in the car with my dad at the time that I came out to anyone for the first time. That was 2015. I didn't come out to him till like 2 years later. I don't really talk to my dad very much, but I was showing him some photos I took at Pride. He was like, oh yeah, so why did you go to Pride? And I was like, oh, well, I'm asexual. And I like to think he went home and Googled it. But actually, I think he already kind of knew what it was. I don't really know. But every so often, he would send me like something interesting about asexuality. And I'd be like, oh, this is unexpected. What?
Well, I mean, for me, I kind of did it like a weird way around because I've kind of always known I was asexual, so I was telling people that for most of my life, but people didn't really believe me. And then I kind of came out online, and obviously all of you guys did believe me. And then people in my personal life didn't believe me until it was reported in the newspaper. And then for some reason, once it's in like Metro, then everyone was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that you were like, this is news. And I was like, it's not news. I told you years ago.
Did no one call fake news on that? Like, did no one like call fake news on that?
No, well, it was more kind of like people like taking pictures and sending it to like my relatives, being like, "Did you know about this?" And it's like, "I've been telling you." Just
like, well, if you'd listened.
And now you're like, "Oh, it's such a shock. I'm still trying to take it in. I mean, you've already just said it. We need time to adjust." And it's like, I told you this 5 years ago, and every time you've asked since then. So yeah, it kind of took until the newspaper said it before anyone was like, "Oh, she was serious." So yeah.
On that note, I'm gonna kick you all off because
That's okay. This is exciting.
the thing that we have been talking up is happening.
All
It is
right.
Exciting.
It is verified. We did it, guys. We did it, lads.
We did it.
We kept them all on for long
Thank
enough.
you all for joining us. Yasmin, I realized we never asked you, who are you? Plug yourself.
People are saying, like, who the hell is this? Why is she even here? Hi, Yasmin. I feel like you probably gathered what I do by now because I've been talking for like 15 minutes. But you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Yasmin Benoit, spelt as it is on the screen there. And for your fix of activism and modeling and general controversy. So yeah.
Okay. Also, I was just told to not kick you all off. So I'm going to kick myself off.
No!
Briefly.
So
that you can all talk to this other person who's here. You ready?
Yay.
I'm not ready for this.
I'll be back in a little second.
No. Oh no.
Come on.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, it's been a while.
Great to meet you / see you all again.
I'm excited.
When I saw in the private chat, I was like, "Oh, cool! I haven't spoken with David in like ages." So
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was I had kid duty this morning, so the beaches in San Francisco, like, you can get a good 50+ feet of space. They're not that crowded. So I like biked my 2-year-old down to the beach, and we were playing in the beach, and I was listening to the live stream, and I was like, I can call in, but it's super awkward because I'm in a beach and it's windy and I have a Bluetooth headset and my phone's about to die. So I have just got.
Well, thank you for coming. This is
exciting.
Yeah, great to see you / meet you all.
Yes.
It's wonderful to meet you.
Yeah.
I've just kicked Elliot because I'm on the win part here.
You too.
I was like, wait, I shouldn't have removed myself because now Yasmin's hosting.
I can give you all a tour of cool ACE artifacts I have in my room.
Please.
Oh my god, yes.
Also, I'm excited to talk about ACE parenting if anyone's curious about that.
Yes.
Also, excited to talk about what even is a relationship. And get your
That sounds very exciting.
For everyone.
This shirt from one of the World Prides.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which I normally don't wear, but I always wear this.
Nice.
And I keep an extra one, and occasionally when I run into someone who wants it, I give it to them.
That's cute.
Nice.
That's so
I
sweet.
wonder if everyone else thought ahead with like their like little details in their little merch. I mean, I have got a black ring, but I always have a black ring, so.
Oh, that's.
I used to have my ACE ring, but my eczema on my hand got really bad, and now I just can't wear it. So I might stop putting it on a necklace like you do.
It's too big for me. So
I really miss it.
But yeah, I want to show you.
Ooh.
For those of you who are here, I'm just going to slowly rotate you all in.
Nerve-wracking.
This is the award that we got in our, I think, 3rd ever Pride from the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, which is the premier activist non-drag troupe of San Francisco. They're a really big deal. And them giving us an award was like this moment of us being accepted into the queer world in San Francisco. That was a big deal, at least locally.
Festive.
And it's little things like that make me like not even bother with like the debates and stuff. It's like in person, in like real life, off Twitter, off the internet, like no one is physically keeping you out of anything. Like we're already here. That's not even a debate. So
hard, yes. Like all the people who are like out there doing the real work, not on social media having opinions, are like they get it. They're with us in my experience.
Oh.
And then
I saw the cat and had to bring her. Had to bring the cat back.
This is the real guest right now.
And then this is my little poster. Here we go. This is my Aces in the Crowd poster. So these are all people in the audience of when we march in prides around the world who have ACE colors. And
That is so cute.
I have a whole little album. Well, I get their permission to take their picture, and then I have a whole album. And every few years, I print out a poster that has a bunch of them and put it up in my room.
That's so cool.
I love
absolutely
it.
that. That's a good idea.
And feel the vibe again.
I recommend that for other folks. And then for reading this, I think I talked about this in chat already. I'm really enjoying this book. If anyone's...
I've read parts of that. I was doing my uni project on that, but I haven't got the actual physical copy of the book, and I could not print like 200 pages. But it's so interesting, the bits that I read.
I actually recommend reading 2 books together for the Ace Nerdy, which are these 2, because they're both really similar. And this one is like this very awesome, powerful book all about how if you want to do like radical organizing and political work, you need to be like about the body and about your own sense of like what's pleasurable and what's exciting, except it does it all from a super sexual metaphor in a way that's not necessary just because that's the author's experience. And this book is like, yeah, that, but from an ace standpoint.
It's very queer theory, very history about, I found it probably most interesting. It really covered the kind of the intersection of the lesbian separatist movement and how the different ways that affected the community as a whole, and how celibacy as a political tactic also affected the community, and how those both intersected with asexuality, even if they weren't, quote, asexuals doing them. Just very queer theory, but very good.
Yeah. And it's built around this Audre Lorde essay about what she calls the erotic, which may or may not be the most useful word for me personally for it. But like, it's all about something, at least I've been thinking about a lot in quarantine from a standpoint of like, how do I like experience what feels good in my body in a way that is not about sexuality? Like, how do I fully just embrace that that's a thing that I have, that like my body can feel awesome, that I can want my body to feel awesome, when so many of the words we have for that assume that feeling awesome means sexuality, and like, what does it mean for me as an ace to be feminine? So anyway, I've been geeking out on that recently.
Sarah finally let me back in. I heard David. She kept locking me out, and I had to listen to her the whole time. And I was like, David is finally here, and I want to talk to him.
They're like 5.
Like musical chairs.
Listen, there's 8 of us. We can only have 6 in at a time.
You would not be in the rotation.
Oh man.
We're so scarred.
David, I am curious about like parenting as ace. Like what your experience with that is.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So I'll see, she might be going out for a nap. I'll see if you all can meet Tavi. I'll tell the quick story. So I have 2 Aero partners named Avery and Zeke. There's a blog post about this that I can send around that I don't know if y'all have read. I have 2 Aero partners named Avery and Zeke. I've been intentional with for about 10 years. So we met in 2010, and then in 2011, we had our first like, hey, let's talk about this relationship as a relationship conversation, even though it's never been romantic and never been physical. And when they got married, they're a mixed gender romantic couple, and sexual couple. When they got married, I like played a big role in planning their wedding. And then after they got married, I've been talking a lot about wanting to raise kids and wanting to raise kids like in an April context, and like dropping a bunch of hints, but not actually asking them if they wanted to do it. But I was thinking a lot about like them as potential co-parents. And then they invited me over, and were like, or I was in town visiting them, and they said, hey, we're thinking a lot about having a family. We really want you to be a part of that. And we don't know what that looks like, but we want to figure out what that looks like. So we spent 3 years kind of having conversations, basically mapping it all out, like figuring out what we wanted was equal co-parenting. So we split everything financially equally. We split childcare responsibilities equally. We like, when she was born, we figured out how to like, as close as we could, divide the night into thirds and like take her equally. And then when Avery and Zeke got pregnant, I moved in with them in the second trimester and basically like did all the birthing classes and stuff. And then we've been co-parenting together. And it's really awesome. Like, we just have a lot more time than most parents do. Like, I have time for my other relationships. They have time for their relationship. And there's now a whole wave of folks in the Bay, like queer people in the Bay have been doing this for like ever. But in a weird way, because we're doing it, there's now all these straight people in the Bay who are like, oh, now that ace people are doing it, like we can imagine ourselves doing it. So there's been a whole conversation that's sort of in part grown out of our family and in part grown out of some other families about like other people figuring out how to do family this way that aren't necessarily ace. Though some of them are.
That's so sweet. And it's just like an extra person to give support to your child. Like, what could you not want about that?
Yeah. I mean, and it's just about like us being able to build our, like me, Avery, and Zeke being able to build our relationship with one another. And that's where, like, having spent a life building ARO relationships, I was like, I know how to do this. Like, this is not hard. Where most like people who exist in a more like normative sexual romantic context are like, what do you mean making that kind of commitment with a friend? Like, I don't know how to do that. So I think it's been cool to like see how the skills of script breaking I learned as like an ARO ace are like coming in handy in all these other ways.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was going to say a lot of people, like one big misconception I see a lot about asexuality is that aces can't be parents. So it's very cool to see someone who is ace.
Yeah, one of the first things people always kind of say to me is like, oh, but don't you want children? And I'm like, that's nothing to do with it, whether I want children or not.
Which isn't to say that there's an imperative, like, I think it's also really awesome for people who don't want kids to not have kids. But I think that it's good for those of us who do. Let me see if she wants to say hi.
There's a ton of people who like doubt themselves because they want a kid and they're like, but I'm ace. I'm like, you can adopt or you can do all sorts of things if you want a kid still.
Yeah, it's not like you have to have sex to have a kid. Like, there's so many children out there that just like need to be adopted anyway. It's like, just go adopt if you want a kid. You can do it.
Yeah, exactly. So I personally don't know how to make a lasagna, but I will definitely take care of a lasagna very well. You can't take care of it. Like, that lasagna is fine with me. Don't you worry. I mean, I said that in hindsight. It sounds like I want to eat a kid. I don't want to do that. They're very clear.
You're digging a hole here.
That's a cannibal reference in 3 hours.
I made a pesto.
I'm very glad David can't hear this. Or he can hear this. I can't tell. His mic's off. I hope he can hear that.
No. I was muting. I was seeing if she wanted to say hi, but she did not. She wants to.
Well, this is very awkward.
Take a nap.
She heard you compare her to a lasagna, and she didn't want anything to do with it.
Being compared to a lasagna is the best, like, compliment a child could receive.
It's true. That is a very good compliment. Oh, she just left. She came in to say that.
That's her bit.
Sorry, I'm just reading.
Oh, could I ask you a question, David?
Sure.
So I'm really intrigued because you've taken, obviously every single year the development of ace discourse changes, develops, and improves, and so many more new literatures and essays being written about asexuality, so many more films, and you've been involved in a lot of different asexuality documentaries and films. I'm wondering, as each one is made and each one you see and each one you're a part of, do you find that each one improves upon the last because the discussion around aceness is improving? And do you find that as soon as a new one comes out, it's very hard to go back and watch an old one? Or do you find they all have very different, interesting and important takes on the discourse in general?
I think they're doing different things and they exist in like different historical contexts. Also, I want to like not overrep myself. Like, I feel in a lot of ways disconnected from ace discourse these days because like, I'm a parent and I have a crazy day job and like I'm super old now. And so
and it's still looking fine.
And so I don't want to speak as like someone who's super plugged in because I don't feel like I am. I'm like, most of my life is the way that kind of all the big tech companies are responding to COVID right now because I'm helping them do that. But what I've seen, I don't know if y'all have seen the new ACE documentary that just came out, the one that follows folks through. It premiered in New York a while ago. It follows a bunch of people through a big queer conference. I really, really like it. But I think that's a good example of, as we get, like, if you look at the parentheses asexual movie, that was the big one that was on Netflix that like a bunch of people have seen. That was this incredible thing, kind of establishing not only like the existence of ace identity, but some of the complexities of ace identity. Like, I really liked how it ended. I really liked how it ended, like, talking about the sort of passion and struggles that go on with me personally and with our community. And like, it doesn't mention the word gray anywhere. Like, it doesn't really talk directly about intersectional ace experience, even though the director really wanted to. The director was sort of looking for where that dialogue is sophisticated and couldn't find it, or the producer, Angela. And so there's a bunch of stuff it doesn't do that the later ACE documentaries are doing, because because the discourse is more evolved, and because like the audience is more evolved and can jump into like a less mainstream gold star normative like definition of what aceness is. And so and I think that's really good, and that's an evolution. Like, that's part of why I've stepped back from most media things. I like refer them all to other folks, because I don't want like straight, cis, able presenting like me to be in the press any more than like is absolutely necessary, white, etc.
Fair enough. Oh, cool. Thank you.
I try to do something similar on the blog, because there is 5 of us. So like, it's important to me that no one of us is like the whole blog, because there's multiple trans people. There's people from different countries. There's people from different nationalities, different disabilities. And so like, I've always in a way enjoyed that I just generally just have the little logo and we're just a little team, and there's not a face to it, because it can be so diverse. And you don't want to be like, this is the stereotype we're presenting now.
Daniel, I love how surprised you look every time.
Someone commented on that.
Someone commented that.
And I'm like,
then I couldn't help but notice them when you joined again.
I love the things in the bottom.
It's unintentional.
Sarah's.
It's my way of showing that I'm still here, just by adding the comments. All right, back to Kayla.
I could definitely relate to David, what you said about being white, cis, male, and I feel guilty sometimes, because it's just like, I know that I'm representing ace stuff and gay stuff, but because I'm that is, I don't know. I feel bad about everything though, so it's probably just me.
I can't relate.
Let's see, does anyone have any questions that they want anyone to answer in the comments?
Someone asked what the documentary was called.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Wow.
Oh, the documentary is, so the first one is Asexual. The second one, it's Carmelo's documentary. Does anyone remember the name of it? I'm blanking the name of it. I'm gonna look it up.
I cannot remember. I don't know.
Wait, the name of which one?
Carmelo's documentary.
There's a comment saying there's one called Asexuals by Carmelo Lopez.
Yes, that's the one.
I thought that was what it's called, yeah.
There's also Samuel Broadley's Taking the Cake. That came out like in 2015, I want to say. I know because my sibling actually is in that one.
Might as well name drop. Mine and Emmy's one was pretty cute.
Still waiting for my documentary, but
yeah, I haven't had one either.
Daniel, we can just make one together. We can have our own.
Next time I'm in America.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's definitely a small place.
Yeah, Yeah, just you'll find me. I'm everywhere.
As if me and Kayla don't live on opposite coasts.
It's fine.
This is an agreement between me and Kayla.
Yeah, Sarah, I never said you were invited to the documentary.
Bitch.
Movement is like, I'm just like, where are they
I
going
know, everyone keeps around.
Sarah's having a really great time just in the background.
Having fun.
Around.
I'm just sweating and moving everyone.
Can I ask a question of you all that I'm curious about your thoughts on?
Sure.
It seems like there's good discussion about it. Okay. Also, my hair. I have beach hair. Sorry.
And it's beautiful.
Okay. Beautiful.
You're rocking it.
In your all sense, what even is a relationship?
Ooh. Who wants to go first?
Let me
contemplate for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite basic, so I have like really basic definitions of things. I literally just take it as like just the bond you have with someone. Like
yeah,
that,
more or less.
how I see it. It could be like a casual relationship, like you're the guy who makes me my salted caramel hot chocolate before I get on a train. That's our bond. That's what we do. Or it could be like you're like besties and you're inseparable. Or it could be like, it could be anything. It could be instrumental. Like I just need something from you. We're just like that. It's an exchange kind of relationship. Or it could be like an emotional kind of one. So yeah, I feel like it's the kind of thing that can come in literally any form and refer to almost any kind of interaction you have. There's some kind of relationship involved.
Kayla, I have a follow-up question on that for you.
Okay.
What is the difference between your relationship with me and your relationship with your boyfriend?
I mean, there's a lot of differences.
I'm cooler?
Yes, you're cool. I have a podcast with you. He still won't do a podcast with me, so that's a big difference. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like we've talked about this before when we try to describe like what a QPR is, of like, well, how is a QPR different than a friendship? I kind of say it's like I wouldn't discuss like my financials and my taxes with Sarah because we're just friends, and like I wouldn't if I was moving, like when I was moving across the country, I didn't talk to Sarah and I wasn't like, is that okay if I move? Like
I helped you get that job.
you did, but I didn't have to like sit down with you and be like, what is our friendship gonna look like after I move? But I like do discuss like job things and financial things and like talk to my boyfriend when I went to move so we could make sure things were gonna like be set and fine.
So I do capitalism with your boyfriend. That's the difference.
Yes.
So he's kind of like, so it's kind of like a friend plus accountant, and then that's kind of like.
I mean, I guess what I'm saying, the only difference is that my boyfriend is my accountant. Is really the only difference.
Okay,
those include Excel.
The benefit is accounting.
Yes, that is.
Honestly, my role in my best friend's life is stopping her from spending lots of money on things she doesn't need.
But what if my dad helped me with my taxes? What does that mean?
Then it looks like you're dating your dad then. I don't know what you're telling me, Sarah. You might be dating your dad.
My mom is just doing weird things behind me. I think she was trying to give me food and she skidded it and it just went across the room. And I was like, what am I supposed? She tried to crawl in and get it and I was like, just go. Just go. I appreciate it, but don't. It's okay. I was
like the opposite of the kids bursting into a room in a broadcast. It's just the opposite.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make a relationship sound appealing. I mean, if it's not for you, it's not for you. I don't know.
A relationship has a lot of oranges involved. It's very appealing.
I don't know if Dean is watching.
I just came back to laugh at that. Good job.
That's why they pay me nothing. Actually, if I want to weigh in on the question, I mean, I don't know. As someone who, what I do is like what I do for a living. I mean, I always have to put on like a different side of myself whenever I'm doing anything. Even now, I'm not really revealing my true self. I'm doing more performing me. So I guess to me, if I was in a relationship, that is someone that no matter how many sides of me there are, someone I would consider to be in a relationship with is someone who I would feel most comfortable exposing literally all of my sides to. Someone that I know that I can be any version of myself to, and I will still be, I guess, validated and respected and treated. Because even I have to admit, even like to my closest friends, sibling, parents, I still can't reveal every single side of myself. And the idea of a relationship to me is someone that I can be all of me to that person, but I don't know if I ever will meet that person. I don't know yet. I don't know if I will. I don't know if I want to. That's still the journey. I'm still ongoing. But in my head, that's what I would think the ideal situation would be. But as just me.
Talking about romantic relationships, though, or queer platonic relationships, or
I don't know.
Meaning like a certain type.
It's tricky. I guess for me, it really could be it could be either or, really. But I think in this scenario, for me, it would be a monogamous relationship. It would be someone a single, unique person that I have a certain connection to that no one else has, and that's why I look at it rather than defining it by platonic or romantic. Because it could be either or, but either way, it's still someone I'm sharing it and exposing something to that no one else has. I shouldn't have used the word exposing. It sounds really bad. That was a bad word. Ignore that. Oh no!
like he said earlier, it's impossible not to make an innuendo when speaking about anything.
Exactly. If you think about it hard enough, So someone else talk, please, before I dig a bigger hole.
All right. I have a follow-up question, unless someone else wants to answer this first one.
I can give a quick answer.
Go for it.
I was just going to say that, kind of echoing what Elliot says as well, complete honesty with someone, and I'm quite needy, so my boyfriend is basically someone which I can talk to whenever and just ask things of without feeling bad about myself asking for them, I guess. Yes, and hugs, because I don't like hugging anyone unless I'm dating them for some reason.
Wait, the hug was a lie then, Daniel? When you hugged me, that was a lie.
Maybe you're dating too.
You've never hugged me. I would have remembered.
You forgot? The betrayal, Daniel.
I shot you with a laser gun. That's why I remember.
You did. Well, I thought it was a virtual hug. It was a hug from a distance. I was reading very different messages.
That's my answer, I think. Just going to ignore that.
David, what was the
question?
What was the question? The follow-up question is, does a relationship have to exist between two humans?
No. You guys have cat.
Is the other option aliens?
What?
Is the other option like aliens, or are we just saying
like, can I have a relationship with a cat? Can I have a relationship with a plant?
Yeah.
Can I have a relationship with a book?
Yeah.
I think so. In a weird way. I'm pretty sure. I feel like you can even have relationships with people that aren't even like alive in like a weird way. I mean, I feel like relationships come in a lot of different like forms. Man, maybe some are kind of one-sided. I don't know. Like if you really love your hamster, how much does your hamster love you? I don't know.
I mean, I really love my cat, but sometimes he just does not want to pay me any attention.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like it. No, I forgot what I was saying. Someone else talk.
I can. Well, I'll share what I think about. Is like I can have a relationship with a human. I can have a relationship with a tree, and like a tree can have a relationship with another plant. Like if there's an ecosystem, a flower and a tree and a deer can all have a relationship with one another. So is there something about, like, I like to geek out on, is there something about relationships that I have with other people that also happen in ecosystems? Like, there's something that all those different kinds of relationships have in common. Are they fundamentally different things? Is it different if I have a romantic relationship is a romantic relationship fundamentally different from a friendship? Or is there some underlying, like, set of rules that all relationships have in common, regardless of where they show up in the universe, which we don't need to talk about, but I like to think about.
I mean, again, by my general definition, the thing they all have in common is that there's some kind of bond there, and even if it's a shallow one, or if it's just I don't know, the plant turning towards the sun kind of bond, or if it's like an emotional bond or a practical bond or something. So in that sense, I guess they all have that in common.
Yeah, like there's some sort of shared experience, and even if that experience is you reading a book or you petting your dog, like I think there's still, I mean, different relationships are going to have different like levels of strength, obviously. Like, I feel like it's easier to have a stronger relationship with a person than with a tree, because a tree can't really talk back to you. But, like, you know, it's still just a different...
Yeah,
but sometimes just like places can just make you feel really just calm. And I feel like that would then be having a relationship with like a certain area of a park or something like that. Even if they're not obviously responding back, it's still something that like you can have a relationship with.
Or like a song, or like, you know,
Or even someone who, like, that's what I mean, like in a one-sided sense. Like maybe if you know someone who died, you might still have a relationship in like a weird way.
Yeah.
Or even someone you don't even know. Like people get upset when celebrities die that they've never met, because they were watching them or following them or consuming their music or knowing about their life or whatever. But technically, you haven't ever interacted. So,
for example, I have a Carrie Fisher candle.
Yes, exactly.
I had a really important relationship with him. It shaped who I am. It still shapes who I am. Right? Like he's someone I think about a lot. Was my grandfather.
Yeah.
And so I don't think there's anything weird about like having a relationship with one's ancestors, having a relationship with one's lineage. And I guess part of why I bring this up, you know, thinking about like, what does it mean for me to be ace and to like have relationships in my life and have intimacy in my life? I'm like, I wake up and I have a relationship with my co-parents. I have a relationship with my daughter. I have a relationship with my partners. I have a relationship with my friends. I have a relationship with like the people who I like am frustrated about in various places. I have a relationship with my house. I have a relationship with the cookies that I make. Like I have all of these relationships. I have a relationship with myself, and the intimacy in my life, the closeness in my life is like all these relationships added together. It's not just my relationships with people. It's not just like any one romantic relationship that counts. And so for me, it's important to think about like, what are all of those relationships added up, and how do I like build and deepen all of those relationships across that whole ecosystem of intimacy, rather than just like, oh, I only have one kind of relationship that counts.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So it reminds me of when I was doing an interview one time, and they asked me about like relationships, and I said I don't experience romantic attraction, and what they wrote down was she does not value any human relationships. And I had to ask them, like, read back to me what I told you. And when they said that, I was like, how did you go from doesn't experience romantic attraction to doesn't value any human relationships? Like, romantic relationships are not the epitome, or they don't say anything about how you interact with other people, but it's just like a weird sign of how in like our culture, that is the top tier of like human empathy and like the most significant kind of human relationship. But as you were just pointing out, there are so many different types of valuable relationships.
Just because, as we discovered earlier, romantic relationships are where you do capitalism.
I guess theory that, or media criticism, they kept pointing out that games would tier relationship stats based on you friend them and then you tip over into like a romantic option, and how that holds up the assumption of everything, that like you become good friends and then you fall in love. That's the way it goes no matter what. And so like game designers were like, oh, maybe we should start to look at this and design this a bit differently.
Not like you meet and you are friends, therefore you will fall in love. Like
I mean, the exception is Animal Crossing. So when you meet Isabel, you always love her. I will always be in love with Isabel. Nothing will change that. But when it comes to terms, so it's obviously like, as you say, David, and how people in the comments are saying, you know, the term relationship is so broad and then comes to so many different things. So I tend to differentiate by saying the words relationship and connection. So a relationship for me is like something that is consensual between at least two parties. Like everyone agrees on each side that yes, we are in a relationship. We both agree this is what it is. Because if someone thinks that they have a relationship with someone and the other person doesn't agree, that's when it gets a bit odd. But I guess so when it comes to like an inanimate object, like a book or a tree or even a pet, I would say that's a connection. Because I mean, you may think that, you know, you have a strong bond with your cat, and the cat may give some affection back, but in the day, the cat may also just, you know, look at you as the thing that provides food. You can't ever really determine that because the cat can't really talk back. You know, it's a cat that just wants food. So you can't really, it's all self-determined. I think your connection to other things that can't really respond. So I tend to say connections more that. I reserve relationships more for things that I can actually have a mutual agreement with. Like, yes, we meet up and we eat pastries together, and that is what we do on Sunday afternoons.
Experience a certain depth of indifference.
Yeah.
that humans can't.
I'm personally offended, Elliot. My cat doesn't just need me for food; he also needs me as a seat. Okay.
Oh, it's just because your cat loves you more than my cat loves mine, Daniel. You need to rub it in.
Oh, I got caught yawning. I agree. The cat needs me to scream at in the middle of the night for no reason also. And that's a very important relationship that we have, is the one where she screams at me for no reason. So
mine used to hit me in the
Sometimes I have
face.
to throw a toy, so it's very deep.
It's big stuff. It's big stuff.
All right. This stream has gone on like an hour and a half longer than we intended.
I have the feeling it wouldn't be like perfectly on schedule. I was thinking there's no way you could only get all these interesting people to talk for 15 minutes. And that would be it. Like
we did pretty well.
Run over.
Thank you all for joining us. Is there anything, David, is there anything you want to say to the people? Thank you for joining us also, especially because I know you were trying to join earlier and then we were like, you're going to be on after Yasmin, and that ended up taking way longer than we thought.
I'm sorry.
Oh man, anything I want to plug? All the stuff I'm doing is I probably should have things, but it's
okay, I put you on the spot.
Yeah, they're all like under the radar. Exciting about this fundraiser. If any of y'all are curious, yeah, why not? So my day job, which has nothing to do with aceness really, but does have to do with the internet and why it's sometimes often horrible, is with a place called the Center for Humane Technology. And we have a podcast that's basically interviewing people about why social media gets kind of messed up. And it's really interesting, and you also check it out. It's called Your Undivided Attention.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining. I'm going to remove myself and put Emmy back in so you can all just say goodbye to the people. Again, thank you all so much for joining. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed any of these guests, throw us $1 or $2 or $4.20.
Nice.
All right, everyone say bye. 1 minute.
Bye.
Oh, bye. Thank you,
This is a
everyone.
long time to say goodbye now.
Bye. Remember, book May 5th.
Thanks for donating. And it was awesome seeing all of you guys as well.
Yeah, I
Also,
enjoyed this little group chat bit at the end, honestly.
This was fun.
Quite nice.
We shoot every week.
Reunion.
It's like the first proper video call I've done since lockdown anyway, so.
This is the biggest one I've done, for sure.
I was just busy with
We're going
deadlines.
to try to do
Just do this always.
live streams.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Can I give a shout out?
Yes.
That is for anyone who's organizing ACE, who's organizing ACE online meetups. I just discovered a thing that's really cool that you all should use or try out. Which it basically like creates a little virtual town with little like Pokemon avatars, and you can walk around and see other people, and you're only in a video chat with the people who you're close to. And so you can
cool.
put like 20 people in it, and then they form little clusters and talk about stuff.
That's cute.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I found it's really good for like virtual meetups.
Wait, what's it called?
It's called Town, and it's like a hackathon project by like 3 college students. It's like not fancy, but I like it better than Zoom.
Is it the link that you just
For, like,
sent in the
meetups.
private chat?
Yeah.
Okay, I will put that in the chat.
Awesome.
And we'll post about it.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to bring Kayla back in a second, but I'm going to kick you all back out first. And also...
Just pick herself out.
Bye.
I'm gonna keep listening until I go.
Hey.
Hello. Oh my God. That's so crazy. Thank you all for donating and for hanging out with us.
Yes, the fundraiser will remain open for the next week. Please continue to give if you can. If you enjoyed this stream, thank you so much. Oh, we've had a couple more people. We had Colleen. It was bugging them that they hadn't donated an even $50, so they gave an extra $8. And we got $200 from Anonymous. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. This has been so fun, and like getting surprised by David was the light of my life.
It was so stressful.
I was so nervous. My dad.
We had no one helping behind the scenes, so we were like trying to message him and also run this.
Yeah, we decided to do this all on our own, but everyone was so great. Thank you to all of our guests, and thank you to all of you guys. Our stuff is linked below if you're interested in hearing us talk for even more hours. We have a new episode coming out tomorrow.
Autumn Riley just gave $2. Thank you, Autumn.
Thank you, Autumn.
All right.
Yeah, and this will stay up unless something goes wrong forever on YouTube, so you can go watch it over and over and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got a podcast episode out tomorrow. Just saying. Keep giving for the next week. We appreciate all of you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, tell Kayla happy birthday in a week from now. And take good care of your cows, as usual.
That's my line, but yes.
I just didn't know how to end it.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Get me out.